Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. This has gotten to be, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's throw some music on here. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So here's the deal. I usually start at 7 o'clock, and it didn't happen. I was at the lake with my wife and our all of our kids really, and Alabama is an hour behind on the time schedule. So hey Jack, so here we were, thought we were leaving early, or getting back on time, and apparently we weren't. So the when you look at your clock and you're like, oh, it's only 5:30, right, or whatever, 5 o'clock. Hey Harvey. Anyway, so we were just driving back and just talking and stuff, and I looked at when we crossed the state line, boom, an hour lost. And I was like, oh no, I have a live stream at 7. I'm not going to make it. So we were trying to figure out ways. Hey Leonard, hey Rick, we were trying to find out ways to update the status on YouTube, but it wasn't working. And anyway, so I'm here, and I'm glad you're here. And I know we're going to have more people showing up as we go along, and try to get the ball rolling on this. We went to the lake and just hung out with, like I said, my son, my oldest son, his wife, and they had their baby with them. And so, and we were at her in-laws or his in-laws place, went out on the boat and hung out with them, had a cookout, and then we hung out at our camper, went out, did some stuff, normal stuff that you would do at the lake. And like I said, we got delayed and got way behind. So Emil, can we talk about axles and rears for the 65 coupe? Yeah, sure we can. Let's get some people in here. Hey Jordan, hey Scott, Andrew, glad you're here. In fact, Andrew messaged me. He's like, are you not doing a live stream tonight? And I was like, I'm going to. And I tried to see if he could put a message on my YouTube channel, because I tried to do it on my phone and apparently it wouldn't let me do it. So we just literally just pulled in. I had my laptop with me at the camper because I was trying to do some video shoot with my son. He wanted to do some stuff. And so I took off running. My wife is unloading the van, unloading the dogs, and I'm in here with you. So anyway, sorry I'm late, and I wish I would have been able to give you a heads up sooner. But when you're over in Alabama, there's like no internet. I mean, you might get LTE service once in a while, and if you have a friend, and we're on Sprint, so Sprint, it's really difficult. But we have a friend over there who they're on Verizon, and she had a hotspot. And had I thought about it, I could have hooked up and gone to the hotspot and updated the status. But anyway, Jorge, glad you're here. I don't know if you got that hat yet. That hat was mailed out to Jorge on Thursday, so hopefully he got it. He emailed me earlier. Red Squirrel, glad you're here. So let's back up just a second. We had Emil ask, and I'm going to post this here so it'll come up. Can we talk about axles and rears for the 65 coupe? Now, I'm not exactly sure what the question is, because that's a broad subject. If you're, hey Robert, glad you're here. If you're looking at the rear end or differential for a 65, depending on the vehicle, you're either going to have a the 4-lug rear with a 6-cylinder or the 5-lug. And there's probably others that can give me, all right, Jorge got his hat, got a bell for that. Of course, you got the 9-inch, the 8-inch. I think there's some variants in between, but I can't tell you the exact, situation, but I don't know what information you want on that. So you may want to pose the question a little bit differently or add some information to the question, and we can go from there. And we'll get some insight, I'm sure, from a variety of people over here. Where's it at? Over there on the chat. And again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We'll be opening this up to people who want to be on the video. So if let me see if I got it here. If you want to be on the chat directly, then wait a minute. We're gonna have to. I'll send you send me an email, and excuse me, and the email is right there at the bottom of the screen. So if you want to be on the chat, now I guess I need to open up my email. This is, when you're just trying to get here and get stuff going, it makes it difficult. I try to be a little more prepared and be set up. So I've got some people that have sent me, sent me some stuff. Okay. Yeah, Guido sent me some cool pictures. So again, send me an email. I think Tripp wanted to be on. He had contacted me earlier in the week, and so we'll get him on here. Let me see where we go here. Jerry, glad you're here. Emil, can you put any axle hot rod? Let me show the question so everybody can kind of put some insight into this. Can you put any axle hot rod, newer Fox body axle under the coupe? I believe you can, but I don't know. The perches, you'll have to put perches on it because the old cars had leaf springs, and the newer ones all have coils, don't they? I mean, they have trailing arms and coils, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Somebody probably has more information on it. I'm not overly familiar with the layouts for the newer ones because I don't work on them. But if you're looking to upgrade, and here's a good response to your question. If you want to upgrade, you can go with the Explorer rear end. It needs to be narrowed for the 65, 66. Lots of write-ups on it in forums. So Robert gets a bell for responding to Emil. But I can't say for sure if you can put a Fox body axle under, the old. I mean, I know you can, but I don't know the dimensions. So if anybody has any insight into that, let us know, or post a response to Emil so that we can give him an answer, because that's a good question. And I know, like I said, Robert was talking about the Explorer end, and with that, it's a pretty tough rear end, and you can put disc brakes on it if you want to. In fact, you probably have to. I don't know if the Explorers came with drum brakes or disc brakes. I don't know for sure. So let's see. We've got 35 people here. That's cool. Let's see. William Davis, Butch, glad you're here. Jordan, I do believe the Fox bodies had McPherson strut rear suspensions. I don't think they had release spring. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think they needed some sort of, they were different. So if you're looking at one of those, you're going to have to come up with a perch setup and get the pinion angle right when you make everything so it fits the leaf springs. And but I don't know for sure. So thank you, Jordan, for responding to that. I'll give you a little bell for that. Whoops. Here's it. Well, let me back up a second. Jerry Towler, Lincoln Versailles is almost perfect drop in, and it's a 9-inch. I've heard that before, and that's a good answer. My bell sounds defective. Yeah, it's hanging up a little bit. So thank you, Jerry. It's a good answer. Emil, I've been reading about the Ford Explorer axle. Seems like a lot of work to cut and narrow. Yeah, read up on it a little more, because I've heard, like I think Robert was saying before, we talked about this one time before, if you shorten one side, then you just buy an axle that would match the other side and put it where the long axle would be. So you end up with a short axle, and you know, yeah, it is some work to make it shorter, but depends on what your goal is. If you're using a Fox body housing, you're going to have to get the perches right, to get the pinion angle right on the tube. So think about that too. Bernie, glad you're here. So Scott says he has an Explorer, has drum brakes in the rear, disc brakes up front. So there's that. So I'll give you whoops. Get a bell for that, because I didn't know if they had drums or disc. I knew they had disc as an option. So Jerry, I did Explorer cut down. If you use 2 right axles, you're about an inch offset. About an inch offset. Okay. Let me see where we're at here. Just seeing if I have anybody popping up on the email. Let's see. Robert, Explorer end has disc brakes, usually a posi locking rear, and good ratios. So there you go. Jerry. Okay, so to do an alignment, to do a cut down on the axle housing, you need an alignment bar and pucks. So good point. And it's not just a matter of cutting things and popping it back together. You have to make sure it's straight. Leonard, the Lincoln is great, but they're all but gone. So you'd have to be lucky enough to stumble across one. I know my brother, when he finds one of those Lincolns with a 9-inch, he lives up in Kentucky, and he was telling me he was at this junkyard, and he asked him about, he saw one of those and he knew exactly what was in it. And he asked the guy at the lot, he says, what do you want for the rear end out of there? And I think the guy told him like $100 or $150. And he said, will you cut it out for that? And the guy said, sure. I said, okay, paid him. And then he went and cut it out. And the guy said, wait a minute. That's not what I thought was in there. He's like, sorry. He knew what was in there. So he got it. Got a good rear end out of it. Gary, glad you're here. Bubba McCallick? Bubba McCallick. That's an interesting combination. Hey, Bubba, glad you're here. We got Nick in the house. Currently working on a Stang, putting the DSE mini tubs in. You get a bell for that, Nick. Glad you're doing that. Hope it's going well. Jerry, I have I'm guessing a 1979 Lincoln with a 302, which runs. It's for sale. Okay. Sure, it's not a 1779. You just got the fat thumbs like I do, or fat fingers. I get it. Happens all the time. Joseph, you made it. Yeah, he had contacted or messaged me on one of the Facebook posts. He said, are you doing a live stream at 7? So apparently people want to do these live streams. And I'm sorry I missed the time, DP, glad you're here. How are you? Let's see. You got Brian W. checking in. Glad you're here. And Bubba McCallick, I'm doing a 1966 as we speak. So you get a bell for that. How are you doing that while you're on the live stream? Answer me that. Got to figure out where I'm centered here. I don't feel like I'm sitting right. Trying to stay centered on the camera. A little tricky. But let me tell you, we went to the lake this weekend, and we went, what day did we go? Saturday morning. We drove over there Saturday morning, and just, hung out. There was my wife had a couple projects for me. I put together a grill for her and for us, and then I built a couple of benches that they're pretty cool. They're made by Lifetime. I think she got them through Tractor Supply, where it's like half of a picnic table, and then you can pivot the top down, so it becomes like a bench. Pretty cool. So I had to put 2 of those together. And of course we went to the, went over to my daughter-in-law's parents' place, which is 20 minutes away, 20, 30 minutes. And went out, got on a, there's a pontoon boat. We were out there. There was a lot of boats on the water. I was surprised. And then we decided to try some kneeboarding. And I'm just giving you information. But we did do we tried to do some kneeboarding. So to give you some background, I've never kneeboarded. None of my kids have ever kneeboarded. And the only history I have is I've done water skiing like 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago. And anyway, so my oldest son, he tried the kneeboard, and he didn't get up on it. So he tried 3 times and didn't get up on it. So then my other son tried it. He tried about 4 times, even 2 different kneeboards, couldn't get up on it. And then they were poking at me and saying, well, let's see you do it, Dad. Okay. Well, not to brag, but I got up on the first try. So we had a good time out there on the kneeboard. And, it was just fun. And then another thing we did was at this lake, there's a big rock, they call it. And so you can go and, you have to climb up on the shore and get up to this rock to where you can jump off. And it's about 30 feet off the water. It's a pretty good jump. And so, of course, I'm all for it. I haven't done that in a long time. And I took off, and both my sons did it. My daughter did it. And I got up there, and I'm looking around, and when we got there was nobody there. We were like, there was somebody on a jet ski and then us. And by the time we jumped off the boat to start climbing, there was like 25 boats showed up. And all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, why, why are they here? And I guess some people didn't know where the rock was. And when they saw us going, they decided, hey, well, let's go do it. So anyway, while we were there, about 15, 20 people jumped off the rock. And I'm looking around, and I'm the only old guy. Everybody else is in their 20s, and I'm up there with my GoPro. I'll get with you in a minute, Gary. Hold on a second. Anyway, so we had a good time at the lake, and let me see here. Sean's checking in. Let's see. Nick, I'm listening to it like a podcast myself. Just tore out the seat brackets and getting ready to stencil the cuts for the inner wheelhouses. Cool. Glad you're here. Glad you're doing that. Donnie Tester, what's up? Enjoyed your 31 video. Working on a 32 Chevy. Doing the woodwork now. Pain in the yes. It's like playing golf. Aggravatingly fun. Thanks for the video tips on everything. Cool. I'm glad you're talking about the Model A. So yes, you get a belt for that. Might have some fun. Try banana peel. Oh, you're talking about on the water? Yeah. No. Robert says he's got a friend who's 75 and still wakeboards. That's cool. Guido is checking in, and I'm going to bring Gary onto the stream. Say hi to Gary. Say hi to Gary.
Hey everyone.
Let me see if I can. You there?
Yep. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, great. Yeah.
I'm also hearing myself on your.
Let's see.
Nope, can't mute yourself. Don't do that. Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
I'm not sure how to make that go away. You just go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, on my 69, I showed it a little bit, I don't know, a few weeks ago or something like that. So now what I got done, let's see, it's hard to see on the little screen on mine.
Yeah, I'm going to pull off the video and let you show what you got.
Okay. So what I got going on now I got the frame patch I put in here, all welded in. I'm still learning welding and everything like that. And I was having a problem. I ground through right here and had to kind of weld it in. I stitch welded it back together and with a copper plate on the backside. What I wanted it stronger. So what I did is I put a square tube in there and then welded that in too in order to strengthen that up.
I like that.
So,
I like that. Good idea.
Yeah. And then it's going to have subframe connectors too eventually here once if I ever get the torque box shipped to me because it's out of stock everywhere. And then I worked on patching the what do you call it?
Inner rocker.
No. Yeah, the inner rocker and everything. I cut that out and then I patched right here and the kick panel. So still kind of learning that. And I ground through here, but I patched that back up. And then so all I did was I cut off the inner rocker. I peeled this down, put a patch in there.
Okay.
And I used a Harbor Freight flange tool. And I just kind of put a flange on that, put it back in the kick panel, and welded that up. And of course, had a few problems here and there, but it's going pretty good. And I don't know, getting there. But originally, I ordered the torque box from Rock Auto, and they only sent me the gusset piece that goes between the torque box and the frame. So struggled with them for a while, opened up a ticket and everything, and finally got them to refund it and everything. And then I ordered from CJ Pony Parts, and now it's on back order. So waiting on that before I can finish up putting in the floor support and everything like that. Otherwise, I got it ready to go and everything. So
cool.
Kind of some progress.
Yeah.
And then I think last time I was on the stream, I was talking about leveling the car and everything, setting it up according to the shop diagrams. And I was having trouble. I had it leveled at the rockers, down here. And my frame rails were drooping down. And according to the shop diagrams, they should be like 3/8 of an inch higher at the front by the core support than the back of the frame rails. So I talked with a bunch of guys online and everyone's like, oh yeah, they do droop down. And that's how it is. But then finally, somebody that builds a lot of these and stuff, he said, well, did it ever occur that on the shop diagram that the rockers are not on there, that they're not actually on there and level with the datum line? I was like, then it snapped. I was like, okay, I get it now. So then I went through a bunch of work to re-level the car based on those measurements. I got myself a little self-leveling laser level, put that on, measured everything, and I was like, okay, yeah, the car is actually pretty square for how banged up it was when I originally got it.
Yeah.
And everything. So, but that's a lot of work. Probably a lot easier to level it at the rockers. So, yeah. But anyways, kind of just cleaning up miscellaneous stuff now, kind of getting ready. I'm going to continue stripping the engine compartment of paint and old undercoating and underneath and get ready to like either epoxy prime or put in like chassis saver, pour 15 over everything. And then once I get the torque box in, subframe connectors in, then I'm going to work on the frame a little bit more up here where the bumper bolts on. There's an old patch here that we put in, 20 some years ago when we first kind of restored the car. But the nuts that would be welded in here are no longer there. So I picked up some more steel today that's 1/8 inch thick, and I'm going to cut this piece out and then drill holes in that, weld new nuts in, just put it in instead of buying the whole part. I figure it's a learning experience and it'll be good to learn. And then it needs some metal on underneath it too, down here, just all kind of crushed and rusted. But
well, you're making good progress.
Yeah, trying. I mean, hoping to get this on the road this year, still this summer, but we'll see. I mean, I got a bit to do still.
Yeah.
And I got to rebuild the hinges, and they sell kits for rebuilding, like you did yours that you're working on and everything, but I haven't found anything for the 69.
I haven't
Have you seen anything?
I haven't looked at those.
Okay. So
They should have something though.
yeah, I could find the whole hinge, but I haven't found like a kit. There's like individual pins you can buy, stuff like that, but otherwise I haven't seen much.
Well, maybe somebody can bring that up on the side and chat and talk
Yeah,
about it.
if anyone's ran into that,
Yeah.
so can order from somewhere. But yeah.
Well, good.
And then I ordered a Holly Sniper EFI refurb unit from Holly's website just the other day too. What's going to go on the 302 when I put it back in here. So got it a couple $100 cheaper. So
yeah.
But I've dealt with the carburetor in the past, and I don't know. I don't want to mess with it anymore. I don't want to worry about it. I just want to wire up the Holly and be able to just hop in and go and not worry about it vapor locking or anything like that. So
right.
But,
very good.
Yeah.
So you said the torque box on back will give you a timeline available?
They said the 16th was when they were going to update shipping. Of course, the 16th was this weekend. I checked this morning and no update on shipping. So I'm hoping that it comes in this week so I can make some progress. But I didn't realize I would have ordered it probably from National Parts Depot or somewhere else that actually said it was in stock. But I didn't realize that when CJ Pony Parts says ships in 5 to 7 days, that it actually means that it's on back order and they don't have it in stock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ordered the torque box, their CJ Classic torque box, and then a one-piece export brace, and then the brace that you can weld to the firewall for the export brace, and none of it's shipped yet. So yeah, so that's why I'm kind of doing little patchwork on the inner rocker and everything like that, kind of getting ready for the torque box and everything.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't want to weld on the floor support before I had the torque box, so I made sure I had the position of that exactly right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too far forward and then run into the torque box. So.
Yeah. It looks like you got a good plan going.
Yeah. But the biggest thing was figuring out that shop drawing and actually knowing where to measure from.
Yeah, that's whenever I was doing the convertible, I had that other car here, so I was able to take measurements from that other car.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot.
Yeah. I watched your video on that. Yeah. I don't know how many times and stuff for welding in the frame rails and everything like that. And I was like, okay, so you put that square tubing underneath the frame rail, then measure down, and so that was a good idea there.
You gotta be creative.
Yep. So no.
Well, great.
I'll let you go and enjoy the stream. It's very hot in my garage. I don't have that fancy air conditioner like you do.
Yeah. It's very handy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go. I've got Jorge waiting to check in.
Yeah.
I've got some questions to answer up on the side. So
sounds good. I'll be watching.
All right.
Thanks.
See you. Okay, hold on a minute, Jorge. I've got some questions on the side that I want to address. Joseph is asking the question, Barry, how do you get perfect door gaps? Do you use filler for that, or is your metalwork super precise for that? Because mine is not. Well, it's usually a combination of things. Typically, I'll look at the gap and how big it is, and I will weld to the edge of the door to fill that gap, or the edge of the fender to fill that gap, and blend it down with sanding discs and stuff like that to shape it, and then use filler to make a smooth transition. At some point, there may be, like at the A or B pillar, it's a little tricky because the quarter panels, being aftermarket, are rounded. They don't have that corner that you would have like with a regular door. So I may use some filler there, maybe some stranded fiberglass to build that up a little bit, and then create that edge or the rounded corner so that it looks better. I did some videos on that on the Brooklyn Pony where I showed that work in particular. So if you haven't seen those videos, go back and look at those for that fitment options. Okay, so nobody 66 just got here. He had sent me an email earlier that I'll have to look at because I'm behind. You know, I went to the lake, and I don't get hardly any information when I'm over there. So I'll get emails occasionally, and then yeah, it just all kind of dumps on me at one time. So I know we have Jorge waiting in the wings, but I want to catch up on some of these questions. Guido, I'm not a body guy. When they say massaging it, like someone tried to use a Dynacorn doors, said that, like someone said, yeah, I mean, they all have to be massaged. It's just pretty tricky to get everything right for these aftermarket parts. Brian's going to tell us about his water sporting experience later. We got Randall from Utah. Glad you're here. Bob Shoemaker, Scat sells rotating assemblies for most Ford combos. I think he's talking about the, well, that's to me, rotating assemblies, crank and pistons and everything. We got Smokey from North Carolina. Yeah, I know I got the echo off of Gary, but we're out of it now. All right. So Jorge, what's going on?
Hey, Barry. Hey, guys. Hey, man. Thanks for the hat.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how to sign it, so I just signed it.
That's cool. Worked out good.
So what's going on with you? Anything?
Yeah, I worked on a car all weekend, pretty much. I tried to take pictures of it with the GoPro, and tried to figure that out so I could give you better details of what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of suck at doing that. I gotta learn how to use that thing better. It was real shaky, and just couldn't get the sound out of it. You could barely hear me when I was talking, going around.
Well, do you have the GoPro in the case?
Yeah.
Okay, that's first problem. You
I
can't
didn't hold it.
You can't get any sound with the case.
Okay.
That's the first problem. And what version of GoPro do you have?
It's Hero 4.
Hero 4. Okay, well that doesn't have the built-in stabilizer. So being in the case, there's two cases for those, or there should be a door, because you have a waterproof case right now.
Yeah, this has the. I was gonna try this one. It doesn't have anything behind it.
Yes, that'll let you make sound.
Okay.
That's the waterproof case is no good for sound. I can tell you that. But the older variations of GoPro don't have a built-in stabilizer, so you have to really hold it still and be steady with it, and they're not not quite as good. The other alternative would be to use like a little handheld digital camera. I don't have one sitting. Usually I have one sitting around, but just a little. Like I have a $70-$80 camera I brought from Walmart. It's one of those little. It's only like that big and about that thick. Fits in your pocket, and that's what most of my early videos. That's all I used was that little camera. Yeah, I didn't use anything high tech at all, and probably everything up until, 2016, 17. I was just using that little handheld camera, and that's all I used. Yeah. So you don't need anything fancy, It can be just a basic, simple camera. And in fact, what's that?
Yeah, I was hoping I can get that GoPro thing to work. How about or a phone? Like an Apple phone?
Phone works. I've had several people send me really good videos, but if you do use your phone, turn it sideways.
Okay.
Do not do it vertical because it makes a narrow screen.
Right.
Turn it sideways, you get the nice full. And so you can use the phone and email those videos from that. Not hard to do. In fact, it's probably easier than the GoPro because my GoPro that I have, my Hero 7, it's got a built-in stabilizer, really cool features, but to transfer that from the GoPro into my editing software, it's a struggle because GoPro tends to want you to use their editing software.
Their stuff, yeah. It's kind of a pain in the neck, yeah.
So like my DJI Osmo stuff, which is what I use for like my time lapse, this little camera.
Right.
This thing's fantastic. I can just transfer direct, and it doesn't have any issues. But yeah, cell phone footage, fine, works fine.
And then getting the files are pretty big. I mean, to send them over to you.
Yeah, there's limits. I know you can do like zip files and stuff like that, or the Dropbox will let me go so big. And typically, if I get a file that's really big, it'll give me like a warning, not like it'll just say, "Hey, we don't know what's in this file" or something like that. But if I know who it's coming from, I'm not. It's not like it's a big deal. So, what's Gary saying? Oh, he's saying, Guido's talking to Gary about the 600, the EFI all unit. And okay, yeah, but don't get too worried about it being GoPro stuff. Simple cameras do the same job.
Yeah, cool. No, I'll definitely give the phone a try next time. Do that so you can kind of see what's going on over there. It's kind of hard. Like actually this coming week, I'll be working at the shop from Friday all the way to probably Wednesday. I'll be working on the car solid. So maybe I can actually broadcast from the shop so you can actually see better what's going on and maybe ask you questions better on what's going on. Because I'm now starting to fit in the Sunday I was pretty much I spent a couple hours just dialing it in with the left self-rolling laser, just trying to dial it in, make sure everything was real square before I start hacking the rest of the car because there's not much left. And then I'm going to do what I guess I'm going to do is just screw all the panels together, then slip the floor underneath it. Just make sure that's lined up, then line up the wheel wells. Just kind of use self-tapping screws and clamps. Just make sure I got everything dialed in right before I weld anything permanent, right?
Yeah.
In case it comes off.
That's anything you can, clamp and test fit, make sure everything lines up before you start welding, and I don't know if you saw the Jade video. Typically the wheelhouses don't fit very well to the quarter panel. And so when I did the Jade video, putting the quarters on, of course it's a 68, so, a little different. I actually showed that. I took the quarter and laid it down on the floor, and I set the wheelhouse in it, which you would think it would just drop right in, but it didn't.
No.
So what I did, once I figured that out, I could compress it a little bit and get it to fit the car. And I remember the whole scenario. I think I compressed it and then either took some measurements or something so that I knew how big the wheelhouse would be, the outer section. And when I put it against the old inner section, I squeezed it down and got that same dimension, clamped it in place, and then test fit the wheelhouse. And that made a big difference. It helped with that shaping it prior to trying to put it back together.
Right. Well, I'm planning to replace the inner wheel wells as well because they're going to be 2-inch wider.
Okay.
What do you think the best way to line that up?
To line up the inners?
Yeah, because there's really not be much. Between 4 being out, there's not going to be much of a reference there.
Yeah, that's true. I have not done wheel tubs on Mustangs, so
make a video
about that a little bit.
You watch me
I have to think about that a little bit. Well, is the wheel tub? It's a kit, right?
Well, I sent you an email of the kit. It's similar to that kind of kit, but it's you're not cutting into the rails. It's
right.
Kind of like that. It's only like it's only like 2 extra inches.
Okay. So the way I look at something like that, and again, I haven't done one of those, but I would try to find, let's say, a reference point at the back of the wheelhouse where it meets the frame rails. Okay, and put a bar or something across that, so that I knew that was a stop point for the wheelhouse.
Oh, gotcha.
So that whenever you cut away, you slide in, and that is still your stop point. Right. So that gives you a cross reference. So it has something to butt against. Yeah, people are saying my feed is breaking up, so I don't know what's going on.
That Cat 5 wire.
I know. I haven't done it. I don't know if if my wife is getting on, starting to watch TV or something, and slowing me down. I got some. I have another. I'm gonna send. I have another person asking to get on, so I'm gonna send him a link, and so he can tune in a little bit.
Cool.
But I'm hoping it's clearing up. I don't know if anybody's getting it now or not. You know, if it's straightening up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's better. It's getting a little better.
Okay. I hear a turkey again. Last week I had a turkey out here, and I just heard it again. I've never had a turkey anywhere near my house, so I've heard it again.
Well, are you guys? You're not driving. I mean, you guys are lockdown kind of down here too, or?
Yeah, sort of. You know, every Home Depot and Walmart, all that, they're wide open. Nobody cares. You know, but if you want to get your hair cut, you know, it's a hassle. So I don't understand the logic. But
we know a guy that was going around but it's so bad up here. It's a different story up here.
Yes.
But he was going around cutting people's hairs in their houses.
Right.
And he actually caught it, gave it to other people, and he died.
He died?
He died. Actually
wow.
Died. But he had, you know, the guy was he was in his mid 50s, but I think he had a heart condition.
Yeah, we talked about that. People with problems. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a lot better with it. The good news is, talking to the guys at the nursing homes, they're dumping people from the hospitals to the homes. But the guy was telling me last week they dumped in 49 people, but out of the 49, 47 were okay. So that's it. That's like a huge improvement.
Sure it is.
Yeah, they're starting to treat it better. So it's some good news, and the good news is they're getting close and coming up with a vaccine. So maybe we'll see it in January.
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's still bad. I mean, you still got to take it seriously. You still got to be safe about it.
Sure.
I mean, you know, it's still, we're averaging 200 people are dying a day up here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And, but it's better than it was before. It was 400. You know, and the hospitals are a lot better. But
you know, we were over at the small town in Alabama. They only have one fast food restaurant, and it's called Jack's. And it's good food, but I went there to pick up some food, and they were open. You could go inside, and they were busy. I mean, there were some people in there, you know, and we had already gotten our food, and I had ordered like an extra drink or something, and I was waiting. And this girl at the cash running the window. Of course, they got gloves on, you know, all safe, you know, no. She's running around like a chicken with her head cut off, trying to get stuff done. And I see her go right. She's getting ready to get fries, and somebody stops her, has her glove on, starts scrubbing on her face, and then goes straight to dishing out fries. And I was like, okay, who are we protecting? But you see it all the time. You see it all the time.
Yeah. Nobody knows that. Yeah.
And I think that's the magic, is you just put gloves on and nothing will happen. But it just transfers from the gloves. It's not like it stops it, you know.
Right. You have to think of it. It's like an aerosol. You have to think it's basically, this virus transfer is like kind of like if you spray Lysol or some kind of spray, you know, you can kind of smell it a bunch of feet away.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yep.
So it's an airborne thing, and that's the thing. That the problem is, if it gets into your system or you breathe, like you can, like those masks are really not effective. The only thing that really works is a biosuit, or if you have a plastic shield, an N95, and you know all the procedures, how to deal with it and how to handle it.
Have your own air supply.
Yeah. But the people in the hospital, I mean, that's what they usually do. They protect their eyes and their face, and then, you know, they're more used to it. And but like the general public has no idea. I mean, you see people wear masks with, you know, like they'll have their mask and it's like this. Their nose is underneath it.
Right.
You know, or it's like it's just a lot, you know.
And they cover their mouth, and then they're breathing through their nose.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're inhaling it.
You're
So,
nailing it. Doesn't matter how you get it.
so
So-
if everybody theoretically, like these are not, they're just not that effective, really.
No,
But they're better than nothing.
right.
And if everybody wore them, I mean, if you cut it down and you keep your, I mean, it does work, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not like
It's not a
to
magic
me. It
potion.
seems like a lot of sense. People get a little sense of security, false sense of security with it. You know.
Yeah.
But it's getting
Um,
better. You know, they're starting opening up. I think there might be a big riot now because a gym up here is fighting, and they're going to open up the gym, and so people are going in there, and the cops are down there today, and I think it was down ashore, Delmar, and they're planning on getting arrested. That's all. They're so like they're just like they just want to open up, and so they just gave them tickets. But I think if they stay open, they're going to come and arrest the guys.
you know, it's like I was saying though. Lowe's is wide open. Home Depot's wide open. Walmart, all these stores, and yet they're starting to restrict these other locations. It's like, what? Why? You know,
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not fair. Yeah.
You know, more people at those other places. I mean, you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, you have trouble getting in because it's just people everywhere. You know,
Big line to get in. It's a whole and it's
but all the mom and pop places are shut down.
Yeah,
which is
and
not good.
but the worst is when you go food shopping. I should do a video on what it's like to food shop in New Jersey. I mean, it's just nuts. It's like, I mean, it's more dangerous food shopping than it is to, like go in some of these stores.
Right.
But even like the big box stores, like you're saying, like I'll be standing in line and I'm like just standing and and people just walking right by it.
Yeah.
And they're always like 6 feet away.
Right.
Like they're not doing. I mean, it's So I mean, the only thing is like if you're, I mean, I guess if it's you're kind of close if you're cutting somebody's hair. I mean, you got to touch them, so it's not like or a dentist. That's another thing too. Like the dentist, they should be because that's their medical. I mean, they should let you at least go to a dentist.
Yeah. Robert made a comment.
It's no more, please. I don't want to talk about that no more.
Yeah, as Robert was saying that the mini tub kits that he's seen that looked like OE, he thought about it, but decided against it on his car. So we'll have to see how you turn out with yours.
Yeah, I'll try to make a video of it and send off to you guys. So you can take a look at it. You can watch me struggle.
Okay, I've Nick waiting in the wings, but I'm gonna post some questions up here. Mark, very random question for you. My DA sander stalls as soon as it hits a surface. 100 psi, I can grab my hand and stop the rotation easily. Is this typical? Depends on the quality of your DA. That's a lot of the issue with that. I can't say if it's worn out, if you got some internal problems with it. They have those little veins that cycle, make the motor turn. It's hard to say what condition it's in.
How much air pressure are you running through it?
He says 100 psi. It should be turning, but I don't know what quality of DA he has. Let me see what else we got. We got B&B here asking if we're twin brothers. Yeah. I'm going to pull Nick on here. Yeah, there you go.
There you
I'm
go.
going to put Nick on. He's got some things he wants to talk about. So here's Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, I do.
How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'll pull this off so it's not in your face. My logo. What's going on?
Not much. Just figured chat in. I don't know. Working on.
So how's your project coming? I know you started with one car, then you went a different direction, didn't you?
Yeah, it ended up being all bent up and basically shaped like a banana. I could have probably did like the whole full floor like you did on a couple cars, but
right.
Just, I don't have enough room for all that stuff, so it kind of wasn't really a good project for me to take on like that. But,
what do you have any? Are you out in the shop right now?
Yeah, I am. I'll flip
Hey,
it around.
hold on just a second. Jorge, I'm going to pull you off the screen. Okay. So you can see what he's got going on. You can stay here. I'm just going to pull you off. There you go.
Yep.
So show us what you got. I'll pull myself off too. And you can talk about
it. Mainly just got
what's that?
Apart. Mainly just got taken apart and subframe connectors and stuff put in, but yeah. All right. I'll flip it around.
Okay. and I'll pull myself off the screen so we can see better, and you can show us.
Yeah, I just got done putting the subframe connectors in the other day. This is DSEs. And floor pans right here. I put 69 floor pans in to lower it down a little bit just in case I do aftermarket seats or something. Just more, I got tall torso and stuff. And I got the whole new floor pan here. And in the middle of taking these seat brackets, I just got done doing that for the tubs, which I'm done with tonight. And it's just, it's a lot. And, I had to put a new transition pan in, or transition pan, I think it's what they call it. And then, underneath here, if I can get under it, just got done starting to put the, I don't know if you can even see that there. The beginnings of the torque boxes for the Quadrolink. That could be it. But basically, kind of just had to start over from scratch on the thing because whoever put the other floor pan in before just really, really butchered it bad. Like it was like the angles are off, the floor supports are all screwed up. It was just crazy stuff. And the toe boards on the passenger side, they had a 3/16 plate sitting there with the torque box over it and another like toe board just like kind of laying over it. I have no idea what the heck they were even thinking about that. It was just
That's crazy.
And,
it looks like you're making good progress, though.
Yeah. They're going right there, but
Because I think I remember you showed me the first car you had, and it was not very good.
no, it was not.
You got your finger in the screen. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But anyway, that's where I'm at with that right now.
So you cut off the structure that holds the back seat. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I got to cut off the structure that holds the back seat, and then man, what's going on with this? There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. But you cut that off because of.
Well, that's you're cutting that off because those mini tubs are going to come out about 2.5 inches.
Okay, so you're doing the mini tub.
Yeah, and then you relocate it over, basically kind of in toward where the rear hanger is for the back seat rest.
So that's a good point for Jorge to take note of. You got to take that seat bracket off because you have to narrow it up as well.
And basically,
I'm pull myself off.
Hanger. You're gonna bring it in right about there. If you got like a 2-inch mini tub, and you just redo your spot welds or make a new flange for it, and hook it into that.
Okay, that's good information. I mean, it's something to think about. Anything you move, you have to compensate for it somewhere else. So that's good.
Yeah. And then I gotta get some construction paper or something for this stencil. It's a little too flimsy. I don't know why they give it to you in this little thin paper like this, but I don't know.
Oh, to make a template for the.
Yeah, it just needs to be a little stiffer, I think. I mean, I could tape it down, but I don't know.
No, you're putting a 4-link or a 4-link rear end in it?
Yep, Quadrolink.
Quadrolink, okay.
But 4-link,
Yeah, and what are you doing up front?
Up front's going to be TC Total Control Pro coilover kit.
Okay.
And
cool.
Yeah, they're going to have a TKO 600 transmission, 5-speed.
Nope. You froze on me.
Huh?
You froze right there for a second. It's going to have what?
A TKO 600, 5-speed in it.
Nice.
And, and then probably a 363 stroker. So. Yeah.
That sounds like a hot rod.
It'll be fun.
And what colors are going to be?
Huh?
What colors are going to be?
I think I'm going to go with Wimbledon white. I like white cars. And
yeah.
It was originally Wimbledon white,
Yeah. And Wimbledon is just a little bit off-white.
You know what? It might change up with it is maybe.
In fact, this is Wimbledon white. on this car right here.
Yeah, I like that, like a cream kind of color.
Yeah,
Beautiful, you know.
just slightly offset.
Yeah, I think I might do like a almost like a dark architectural bronze type rims or something on it, maybe, or accents.
That'd be nice.
It would
Yeah.
almost be like a black and white, but not just a little different. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're making progress because I know I remember you showed me that first car, and I was panicking.
On this one here, I was starting to panic too, man. I wish I could, like I said, I wish I could have showed you that front passenger area. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But 316's plate under there. I guess maybe they used it to mock up the front end when they changed it out because I got receipts for it. There's a company up north. They're supposed to be pretty good normally, and they changed it out, and I guess they used that, and they just decided to throw the torque box on top of it and the late freaking toe board. It made no sense. There's like so much stuff that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you look at some people that don't know how to do construction, and they're just nailing all kinds of stuff together, and you're like, "What? Do you even know what kind of load this will handle?" And they don't get it. But I'm glad you're getting. What's that?
Like Tim Taylor's.
Yeah. More power. Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring Jorge on. Maybe he has something to add to your mini tub situation, because I know he was talking about that a minute ago.
Hey, no, it's going out good, man. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty much doing something similar, but and I'm putting a 4-link as well as well. And I went with Total Control chassis works out in California.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I got for the front end, but yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good quality parts. I was pretty happy with them so far. Yeah. And then I ended up welding the rear, so I just I did that for the links to attach to it. I did email you that picture, I think, Bear.
You did. I haven't looked at it while I'm on the chat. I'll get there. I'm getting all kinds of emails right now, so I'll have to look at it later. What's that?
You're getting blasted.
Yeah.
I'll teach you for being late.
Like a Brady Bunch stuff.
Yeah.
I was just almost gonna email you like, hey, what happened?
Yeah. I'm gonna back up a second. We had Mark asking a question about his DA sander, and he's saying it's a brand new Craftsman. So I'm gonna say there's something wrong. He says there might be his compressor.
Well, if he's got 100 pounds to it, it's probably so. I mean, just take it back.
I think it may be the hose, because he was saying, the thing is, it's a second DA sander with the same problem.
Oh,
so there could be something going on between point A and point B that's dropping that pressure off at the DA. I don't know. It's hard to say without
looking at it. Yeah.
You say he's having pressure problems with his DA?
To the DA, but all the DAs, like my little Ingersoll Rand, it's got a little valve on the side where you can regulate the speed by that. You can put full trigger and you can adjust it. In fact, I did it in my last video. I actually sat there and tweaked it a little bit. So maybe that he doesn't know about it, or it's, I don't know.
What kind of, is he hooked up directly to his compressor? Does anybody know?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 pounds is plenty for that thing.
Oh yeah. It should be coming apart. Gary's our GM guy. That's John, right? Yeah. He's asking favorite adhesive motor for plastic. Any tips for the Money SS front bumper? I have flexible glaze, epoxy, and 2K. I don't have an answer for that. I haven't messed with anything flexible in so long that I don't have an answer for that question. I'm sorry. Probably whatever your paint company recommends, whatever products you're using for paint, look at them and ask for them, see what they're using for adhesion motor. Otherwise, I don't know. Sorry. Okay. He said there's no adjustment. Oh, that's the second DA. Sorry. I already posted that. All right. Yeah, they're just talking about the DA, which is good. So, Nick, once you get all that in place, what's your next step? I mean, where are you at in the sequence?
The Quadrolink probably putting the transmission and everything else together, just like moving around and whatnot. Building it from the bottom up, basically.
Oh, you froze on me.
Basically building everything from the bottom up,
Yep. Okay.
Taking care of everything underneath and then up and then, body work and stuff. Yeah.
Right. You already,
So I can drive around if I want to while I'm working on it, kind of like a work in progress.
Yeah. You already have the engine and transmission coming?
Transmission I've already got. I got a complete kit I got from that Silver Sport Transmissions, which they were awesome to deal with if anybody ever wanted to do that.
What's the name of the company?
Silver Sport Transmissions.
Silver Sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do it's kind of like American Powertrain or whatever.
Okay.
Just another company does the same thing.
Where are they out of?
I think Kentucky or Tennessee, something like that. It's not too far from me, or you guys actually, or Barry anyway.
Yeah, I'm north.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, I don't.
Well, where are you based at, Nick?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay. I mean, I didn't remember that much, but I remember you and I remember your car, and the conversations we've had on that. But yeah, you're kind of in Rust Belt area.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately.
All right. So we've got Joseph is saying that maybe maybe it's the air fitting. He says maybe a 1/4 inch APT fitting versus a 1/8 inch NPT adapter.
Do you have any problems with any other tools like an impact, or have you tried anything else?
That's a good question for Mark, because it can be a variety of things.
When's the last time you lubed it?
Well, it's a brand new DA, so
It's the second
should
thing.
be running out of the box. Yeah. All right. So Emil is saying he's talking about the adhesion promoter. He used Bulldog, which I remember using Bulldog in the past, but I haven't sprayed anything that needed adhesion promoter in a long time. And anyway, so Jorge, you already have the mini tub kit?
Well, it kind of came with the floor that I got from those guys up at Main Street Auto, where I got the floor from, and he had actually one side done already, where he basically cut it out and had it welded. So he already started it. So what I did was that say again.
Sorry. How much extra tire clearance you looking for?
I mean, I'll be happy with the 2 inches. I'm getting extra 2 inches. I just want to put a nice tire on it so it doesn't rub. When you go around a turn and you start getting gallons out of it.
Like most of the inner wheelhouses and stuff.
Yeah,
Nick. So I can flip this around. Like you see, right here, it's wide up front. Usually, you can just square off the front and get a bigger tire in there. Just doing that instead of having to do the whole tub.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're only looking for a couple inches, you see, because right there is only the 2 inches, and then they square it off at the front basically to make that extra.
That's true. Squares up the front of the wheelhouse.
Fit like a bigger diameter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can't gain much from the frame rail and the wheelhouse to the frame rail. It's more about squaring off the wheelhouse itself so that it can handle that dimension. But you don't have any templates or anything, right, Jorge?
Nothing. No.
Yeah. So you may have to do, if they've done one side, hopefully they had a template, and maybe you can just copy that.
That's what I'm going to, yeah.
Make your own template of that one side and just flip it over, and see if that'll help dictate where the thing goes.
Yeah. I'm going to get to a certain point. I'm going to see if I can drag guy's name is Billy Demarest, really super talented. I knew him back from my race car days, and I'll just go up there. I know where he lives. I'll drag him down there and see if he'll help me with it. They do that stuff all the time up there.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of going by what they did. I'm just gonna try to work off of that and see what I got. I'm doing, Nick, is I'm gonna put everything together with self-tapping screws and pliers, just to try to fit everything and just see what I got. Before I set it. I already got the rear ends all welded. I have all the tabs on it, and I got the 4-point suspension piece welded on the bottom of the floor.
Okay. All right. I have another question here from Katana Junkie. Do you know what is used in the drip troughs of the newer trucks, 97 and beyond? It seems to have some sort of sealant that is poured in by the factory and painted over. Typically, they'll use 3M makes product. It's called self-leveling sealant or sealer. And some of them, I haven't used one in a while, but I may be getting a kit to use on the Jade Mustang when I do the fill in some the drip rails on that. I'm not going to fill them in. I'm just going to retreat them. But I'm trying to remember if it's a 2-part mix, and maybe a 2-part epoxy that you mix together and then squeeze it out. And the self-leveling stuff it's kind of runny. And that's the point. As it flows, it'll fill in those low gaps and basically create a little dip between the two. And even on where the flanges are, for those trucks, they're using probably not a direct self-leveling. It probably has a quicker cure rate. So there's you can buy different ones. I'm just letting you know. But that one is probably more of almost directly as it's pumped, it starts filling in the gap and just stays there. It doesn't smooth out. But 3M makes a bunch of stuff like that. So you may want to look into that and see what they offer that would mimic that. But it's been a while since I put any of that stuff in a vehicle. Okay, yeah, Mark's getting bad feeling about his compressor. Okay. He needs to verify he has 100 pounds. If it says 100 pounds at the tank, you may want to get some sort of a regulator or something you can connect to the hose,
right?
Or to a blow nozzle. Connect that regulator and look at it. Spray the thing and turn the dial and see what it comes out at, because otherwise you don't know for sure if it's even getting 100 pounds at the hose. So that's another thing you can do.
Hey, you could have a bad hose or a bad fitting, sometimes.
Yeah, combination.
Kind of rare, though.
Yeah, rare. Yeah. I have old hoses that are 1/4 inch that I've had them for years and years and years, and they just keep on.
Hey guys, hop off. This is breaking up for some reason.
Say again, Nick.
Hello. Yeah, I'm gonna hop off. It's breaking up for some reason.
All right, we'll see you, Nick.
All right, Nick. Hey, good talking to you, man. Can't wait to see you.
That's okay. We'll see you. All right, so pulled Nick off. 3X Xena. That's Gene. All right, so Gene's here. Joseph asked a question. Barry, does the classic Mustang use fender shims to get the hood flat across the top with the fender, or should I just be able to put fender bolts in and it'd be perfectly even? That's a good question. I've seen shims used, and it depends on what's been done to the car. Like, if panels have been replaced, you can't guarantee they're at the right height. You can't. There's just no way. So I was talking to somebody about it. I think it may have been maybe Robert. Somebody had brought that up, that they couldn't get the fender to fit. And I told them, dolly up the apron, because the apron can move a little bit. So you might be able to get some of that gap out by moving the apron. Don't try to push the fender down. If you have to, throw some shims in there. Don't force anything, because you'll regret it later. Trust me. You end up with a dip in the fender or something, that doesn't look good when you look down the body line. But typically, you can massage that apron up a little bit or put in shims. I mean, I've seen it done, but it's not the best thing, but it does work. Let's see. SEM self-leveling seam sealer 2-part with about 20 to 30 minute set time. So, Harvey, Rally Cat Garage, you get a bell for that. Thank you. Arthur, hey, how's it going? And Joseph, I have one side that is even and another side is a tiny bit high at the front. Tiny bit high.
What's a tiny bit?
Yeah, what's a tiny bit? And
1/4 inch, 1/2 inch?
Plus, there's a lot of variables. When you put the hood on, as I pointed out in Guido's car when he showed his fastback the other week, there's little hood bumpers too. So those hood bumpers are meant to keep your hood at a certain height against your fender. So there's a lot of variables there that we don't know. When you say it's a little high, is it a little high, or is it a hood a little low? That's the other thing. Can you adjust that and get the bumpers in there to set the hood, where it should be? There's a lot.
Do the factory hoods, can you tweak them too? I mean, not really, right?
They're
Not
welded.
really.
They're spot welded.
They're pretty much solid, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can manipulate the curl at the front a little bit, but it's going to take some effort. I mean, it's not easy.
If you got a choice between a new one or a used one, like what do you think?
I would go with an original part every time.
Part, yeah, every time.
Whatever I can use, it's original. I want to use it, even if I have to do some work to it. I want to stick with the original because I just know it fits way better. Otherwise, I had a conversation, and I'm glad you brought that up. I had a conversation with a guy last week. I think his name was Sean. Anyway, he might be listening in. Sean has got a 68 Fastback that he spent serious money on panels. He didn't go with the $100 quarter panel. He went with like the $500 quarter panel. And
I gotta tell you, I would have done the same thing if I knew where to get them.
Right.
It's worth it. Time.
Yeah. I think he got them through
That's
NPD.
crazy.
I think it was
Where?
NPD. NPD, I think. Anyway, so he bought the good stuff, the really good stuff. And he messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, send me pictures. He said, something's really wrong. What do I do? And basically, the quarter extension, and this guy, he's done body work. He's been a body man for years. But the quarter and the deck lid, the quarter, because on the left quarter, what I've run into on most cars is the quarter's too long, and I'll actually zip out a quarter inch and push it forward. This one, the quarter was short, like a quarter to 3/8 of an inch, and he was trying everything he knew to get this thing to move. Apparently, the car had been hit before, and something is just off enough that he can't. He was like, the deck lid, if I move, the deck lid can't move any more further forward, or whatever. The quarter, you start pushing it around, you end up messing up with the gaps and all these things. And finally, I said, you need to find wherever zero is on something. So, as an example, to me, the tail panel dictates where things should be. All right. So, because if you got the deck lid and it can't go any further, it's got a nice reveal around the front edge.
Right.
The quarter needs to fit the deck. I mean, the tail panel needs to fit the deck lid. You need to have a proper gap all the way across. Then, as you're fitting things. So he said that he knows that the quarter or the tail panel is forward on that side. I said, well, what you're going to have to do, and I hate to tell him this, but I said, you may have to cut the quarter and stretch it, because you can't push the thing any further. You can't stretch metal without cutting something and adding material. So I said, you're better off getting that tail panel, fitting the deck lid, knowing that, let's say you went from the top edge of the tail panel and you went forward, pick something you think is right on the money. Like, even if you have to go all the way to the dash, somewhere where you can say, this is square. Come back and say, okay, I measure here, and this side's off, and I know I need to adjust that. So once I talked to him about it, he was like, yeah, I hate to do that, but I said, well, you don't have much choice. Unless you know where the problem is, you're going to have to compensate. So anyway, he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I hope he does, but he said, he's like, I feel better now.
Maybe we should start a series. Better call Barry.
Yeah, Better Call Barry. Yeah. For $29.95, we'll talk about your problem.
But that's exactly what I was going through with the red car, because I mean, nothing was fitting. I had old panels, and I'm like, I'll buy new panels. Maybe they'll fit better. Like, well, that was even worse. And then and that's what it was, because that car was just so twisted when you welded it. on a twisted frame, all those panels that he did. I mean, it looked pretty nice, but I mean, it was just the car's just it's just off, you know. And it must have been going sideways down the road when he had it running. From
Yeah.
that. And then I couldn't find anybody who wanted to work on it.
Well, I have to give a shout out to Footage Factory, Steve. He's kicked me a $10 super sticker. So I'll give him some bells for that. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. I know he's building that car. He's trying to make wide wheel tubs and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to it. He's been on here, a couple times now and showing his car.
Cool.
So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm going to back up a little bit because there's been a bunch of stuff coming in. There we go. Oh, Katana Junkie, what became of your Camaro? Well, it's still here. Well, unless you're talking about the black Camaro, I sold it. The black Camaro is long gone. But the basket case Camaro is sitting outside under 2 tarps. So
how many total projects do you have?
1, 2, 3. Well, 4 definite projects. I still have work to do on my GMC truck, which I'm driving as is, but I still have work to do to it. So I count that as 4.5. But I run into stuff and I'm like, I got to buy that. I just can't help it. So let's see, Mike, replacing cowl, 1-piece assembly or 2-piece. I don't mind the welding. What do you experts say? I have not put in a 1-piece assembly, but I can see the advantage.
Cowl?
Yeah. I mean, if you can do it in one shot, probably go ahead and do it. But I have not tried on 1-piece assembly. I didn't even know they sold a 1-piece assembly. I know in the 69 or 70, they have a different cowl setup.
I don't know how you could do it because you've got that where the windshield is. You got that one panel. That's like separate. Where you have that big gap. I don't see how you could do it. It's not gonna.
I'm not sure if the 68 is different.
Oh,
okay. I've not done a 68. 65 and 6, you have to weld the lower panel to the filler panel on the windshield. Right. Weld that down internally, and then put the cap on and weld the perimeter. So the 68 might have a different configuration. I have not done one of those, so I can't say for sure.
Oh, okay.
You'd have to research it and find out if it has that inner structure that needs welded. If you really want an answer on that, Mike, I've not done that. Brendan's checking in. Glad he's here. Let's see, Doug. He's checking in to learn something. Well, I hope you do. Yeah, definitely original if you can on the panels. Scott Eicher. Nick is asking whose mini tubs are you using? Are you cutting into the frame supports? Are you going to have a special gas tank made? Are you going to be able to use the rear seat? Okay, that's a lot of questions, Scott. I don't know if Nick wants to respond to that on the side, I'll let him. That'd be great. He can do that and respond to you directly. Brian, Mark, put a pressure gauge between end of your hose and sander. Watch pressure recovery. Yep, that's what I was saying earlier. Get some sort of a gauge reference. And now I'm catching on. There's Footage Factory asking what's up. How do I donate? Well, I think you figured that out. So
hey, give me another. I bought $200 worth of stuff on Amazon through your website. Oh,
you get a bell for that too. And again, thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. No, Scott, Steve, right? Oh my gosh, got too many names to keep up with. I know it's an S. I think it's Steve. Too many names. Okay, so he's got a question. Well, if you want to get, let me see if he's booted me on the live stream. Okay, so I'm going to send him a link, and it is Steve. Sorry, I thought I was right the first time. I know I said Steve the first time, and then I got caught up with Scott. And anyway, Reese, you're apologizing. You missed some of the recent live streams. Well, no apologies, man. Glad you're here.
Watch them.
Yeah, you can go back and watch them anytime.
But make sure you put a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's true. Put a thumbs up on there. Okay, so he's going to check that gauge. Don't forget the motorcycle. Oh yeah, well the motorcycle's gone. One of them. One of the one motorcycle I did work on recently is gone. I sold it. The one I did the gas tank liner on the other channel, on the workshop channel. And speaking of motorcycles, I've got a situation I got to figure out. I have probably 3 years ago, I bought a 72 Honda CB750, 4-cylinder, orange, the color you want, orange. And somebody had done like a chopper version of it. They put longer forks on it. It had a king and queen seat on the back and, looked horrible. I got it cheap, but it ran and I got it pretty cheap.
Four carburetors? The 4 carburetors setup?
Yeah, yeah. And so
Ugh.
a buddy of mine who works on bikes on the side, I said, hey, do you want to build this, help me fix this bike up? He said, sure. Well, it's been 3 years. He did shorten the forks, got the regular forks on it, got the right forks. He did some other work to it. I bought another seat that looks like the Honda original seat. I was going to make it look like the Honda. And I don't know what's going on. He even moved. He moved like 20 miles from me. He used to live right down the road.
Does he have your bike or?
Yeah, he still has it. I have the title for it. And he said, he sent me a message like 3, 4, 5 months ago. Said, hey, I feel really bad about this. How much do you want for the bike? I'll just pay you for it because I know it's taken way too long. And I gave him a number and he never responded back. So I don't know what's going on.
I think they're going for some pretty good money when they're restored, I think.
Yeah, when they're restored. So anyway, so yeah. Well, he's talking about the big motorcycle that I had. That one's gone. But I forgot about the Honda.
You still have the dune buggy?
I still have the dune buggy. Yep. It's at my buddy's house right next door. Thankfully he let me use the space to store it while I'm doing the Mustangs. So I need more space. I know, have less stuff, right?
Well, when you get bigger space, you get more stuff. So
let's see. Joe's, go ahead.
I got a question for you. So like now that I'm putting this stuff back together, so I guess my thought process is get the rockers done, get the floor in, and then hang a door, line up the door on the bottom edge of the rocker.
Yes.
And then work my way back to the quarter, right? From that edge back, and then fit that in. And then once I get that squared away, then I get the back end and work the fenders forward. And then the other question I got for you is like, so welding the back and the firewall and the cow's cake and getting all that squared up, I figured that out pretty good. But how do you know how to get the front end at the right angle? Because it's not square; it dives down a little bit.
Right.
So I did look at the factory manual.
Yes.
And there's I guess gauges and points. So my thought was I made gauges for it, and I'm just gonna hang them there. But how accurate is that off those books? I mean, is it?
I've heard mixed results from that stuff. Usually, what I focus on is getting things in place to where the exterior sheet metal looks right. So consider that. You want the rails right. Are you putting new rails in? New front rails?
No, I'm just gonna repair the one.
Okay.
I'm just gonna fix them.
So here's what you're gonna do. If your rails are good and they're not moved or where they belong.
They're well, the one I gotta repair rust wise, and the other one's a little bent, but it's not bad. It's mostly the lower arm got a little bit bent. I gotta send you that video so you can see it.
Okay. Well, what I do is if the rails are good, I work my way up, clamp everything in place, set the core support in place, get everything lined up that way, set the fenders on, set the hood on, and start looking at everything, how it planes out.
Okay.
And if I need to tweak something, then I tweak it then and get everything leveled out, clamp it, verify everything's right, and then go from there.
And where do you right now? I've got it supported pretty much off the roof. So I've got straps on each corner of the roof hanging off the rafters, right?
Okay.
Well, it doesn't weigh anything, you know. So I was like,
Yeah.
so the thing is, like, where do you like? Generally, when you do that kind of stuff, you really want that on the suspension points because it's going to flex after you put all that weight on
Well,
suspension points. So how do you?
yes, you do. Now I don't know. I need to look more at your stuff. But like the Brooklyn Pony, I started from nothing.
But yeah, you had a jig you kind of made for the bottom.
It's not really a jig. It's just a dolly. It's just a roll around dolly is all it is. It's just a body dolly.
So if I have it, just say if I have it supported on the pinch welds,
Yes.
would that be all right? Like if I did it from there, and so just have everything off the pinch welds and put all that, and then I'll put the engine suspension stuff in later. Just make sure the panels look right because it's gonna move once all that weight's in there. But
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pull Steve up. Steve's waiting in the wings, so I'm gonna pull him up here quick.
Cool.
Oh, good. He's got clothes on today.
Hey, Steve.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I got a bunch of questions that I got to ask you. I had written down. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Jorge, I'm going to slide you off for just a second so we can see what he's got going on. All right.
All right. Hey, question real quick.
Yeah.
How much does $10 of time buy me?
About 10 minutes.
All right. What time is it? All right. I'm going to utilize this 10 minutes starting now.
Okay.
You ready for the first question?
Yeah.
Okay. Number one question. Joe Daddy questions for May 17th. Number one, fender patch. Mustang Unlimited is no longer in business.
Yep.
And I want to fix this. Can you see this?
Yep.
Where you, from what I looked at on the video, you actually cut a portion of the entire quarter panel. Or am I wrong?
Of a skin, yes. 80% skin.
Is that what you recommend to do?
Yeah, because the little piece they sell does not fit. It's like it's designed to go over what you have. It's bigger than what you really need. And the bottom is not the right transition. So I would use an 80% skin and cut it down.
I'm writing
Question
notes real quick. No, 80% skin. You don't have to answer now. Is there any way I can look up a part number for that?
Oh, I don't know. You can look at. I mean, if you look up quarter panel skin on NPD, CJ Pony, whatever, they should have it. Right there. Okay.
All right. I will look up 80% skin. I might. You know what? I might end up using just the larger patches. I like the way that you did it and how you butt welded it and everything, and I'm gonna try to emulate what you did.
Cool.
You ready for the next question?
Take your time on that.
Okay.
Yep.
Next question. I took your advice when it came to this, and I'm going to remove the entire floor pan. But here's my next thing, and my wife just got back from Scotland the other day, and I put the seat in just to mock it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I remember sitting in this thing, like my head hitting the roof, and I sat in, and she goes, "Yeah, you're too tall for this." They make the lowered risers. Do you like those?
I have not used them. However, as we were talking earlier, Nick was saying that he used the seat risers out of a 69 in his 68. Okay, because apparently they're lower.
The MPD actually has Cougar ones, and they say the Cougar ones work for the Mustang.
Yes, so you may look into that. If you're tall, you can buy those lower risers, and that's going to help compensate for that.
And it's not that I'm tall; it's that my body is really long and my legs are really short. My body is designed for a 6'4" person, and my legs are only like a 5'2" person.
I have a good friend just like that.
So the leg portion's okay, but the height portion really sucks.
Yeah, I'm 5'10", and he's 5'10", and when we sit side by side, his head's like up here.
Yeah,
he's like really freaky looking.
And then when I run, I look like I'm on the Flintstones, and my feet just doing this. All right, you ready for the last question?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I got enough light. All right. So,
This must be a good one.
well, it's a complicated one, and I apologize. I'm going to ask it probably twice. Okay, I'm about to show you the rear channels. The rear channel. You know what? Fuck, I'll just show you. You know this. You know this channel on the rear suspension where you
Yes.
attach the
The shock.
the coilover.
Yes.
So I painted it already, and I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? I'd actually like to weld it a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm taking off this paint. Do I need to take the paint off directly behind this, or can I just do the surface paint right here in the corner?
You can just do the surface.
Okay.
Whenever you start laying the heat to it, and you're going to put some heat to that, it'll burn out whatever's behind there. You don't need to worry about it. It'll burn it out. Yep.
Those are all my questions for today.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for the donation.
No
You
problem,
get
man.
two
I figure, hey, the amount of money that I have spent on you is worthwhile, man. It really is.
I appreciate it.
No problem, dude.
It's definitely go to use.
Hey, when you on next time? Because I have so many freaking questions every single time.
Okay. The plan is, again, that I will do Monday night at 7. And currently the plan, and I'm saying this right now on the channel because I have a project at the lake that I have to do on Wednesday. I normally do a 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on the channel. And I'm hoping that I can still pull that off. That's still my goal. But if I can't, I'll have to push it to Thursday at 3 o'clock. So I'm letting everybody know if I don't show up on Wednesday at 3, look for me at Thursday at 3. So.
And then I wanted to show you one more thing real quick. It's not a question, but so I have this tire size gauge, wheel size and tire size gauge.
Yep.
It's not like yours is cheaper because I'm poor. And but I'm just getting the tire size. Also real quick, I don't know where I put it. I got one of those. I got the fender roller. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I just got it somewhere in here.
Okay.
But I'm gonna play around with that because I think to myself, I can roll the fender. It's just primer, no big deal. I don't care if anything cracks. And if I don't like the way it looks, screw it. I'll just cut it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you. Why not? So what kind of wheel size thing did you get?
So the wheel.
Is it metal?
The one that you were using was like $400, dude. I'm not
What?
$400.
No way.
Well, can I borrow yours? Can you just send it over to me?
No.
I mean, I'll send another $10.
No.
It's called Ingenuity Fabrication Specialty or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It was on Amazon, and it does the total height of the tire.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing a 24.5 inch, but so I just put 25. The
Right.
only problem is, and you know what? Hold on, let me.
You know, your problem is
I'll take it off real quick. Just to.
here's going to be your real problem.
Huh?
I'm gonna go ahead. Go ahead. Finish what you're doing.
The only problem is, and you have to. I had to figure out what like the actual back spacing.
Yep.
Was on the wheel I wanted to buy, and then what's this? So this is the back spacing. What would this measurement be called?
Well, I guess you could say front spacing. I don't know.
That's what I said. Front spacing, right?
Yeah. I mean, the back spacing is the important part. The rest of it is just the width of the wheel.
I went to Les Schwab today and I asked them, I'm like, hey, what's the back spacing of this wheel? And they're like, we don't do anything in back spacing. I'm like, all right, okay. All right, dude, I'll go home and do my own research.
Yeah. Well, here's this is something I want to tell you right now. You have that car sitting on jack stands, right? Okay. So the weight of the car is on the jack stands.
And it's dangling.
All right. So you know what I'm going to.
Yeah, I do.
So the weight needs to be on the differential.
So that actually brings me to my next question is that you actually undid this on your last one, didn't you?
Probably. I don't remember. It's been a while.
But you basically put it at the lowest setting of the coilover so that so that thing gets sucked up as high as possible at its as if it's going over a bump.
Right.
So
So
yeah, that's actually, yeah.
You're gonna have to play with it with the weight on the car. Just saying.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna try to get it to its absolute lowest setting, just so that I could jack at least the axle up and get it up.
Well, yeah, jack up the hole from the center. Make sure you put jack up from the center, so it doesn't tilt.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, dude. I feel at home talking to you, man. It's like we're kindred spirits, man. Hold on, let me drink what I got going on here.
Got the coffee. You know what? I'm slacking.
It's not coffee.
Oh, well, that's even better.
I mask it in this so people think it's coffee.
Yeah, that's a good call. It looks like the water. It looks cold though. It looks like it's got some sweat on the container.
Pretty cold. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's going on there.
Hey, dude. I will talk to you maybe Thursday, but for sure Monday.
Yeah, I plan to be here Monday. Yes, at 7.
Good stuff, dude. I'm gonna hang up on you and thank you very much, man. Talk to you later.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Bringing Jorge back on.
Hey, back again.
That was interesting. I'm glad. But you know what? I like him asking questions because it enlightens other people.
No,
It
it's
gives
great.
you an idea what's going on. I'm trying to. I got a bunch of people. Oh, Gene. I got to post this. I missed it. Gene, thank you. $10 super sticker. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I'll leave that up there for a minute. We got a couple other people. Man, where am I at here? I got to back up. Oh man, I got a bunch of people. Okay, so nobody 66 sounds like a normal mechanic counting projects by the half. Yes. Wait a minute. This bell defective. Okay.
Wait, I think I got a bell.
No.
Nah. Nah.
All right. So Joseph is saying, so when will paint happen on Jade? I feel like I somehow talked you into spraying epoxy and primer on Jade. You may have. I don't know. I don't know. But I can't put paint on until the other panels are ready. So got to keep that in mind. Plus, the primer that I put on, I'm going to do an initial block sand on that and verify any location of high or low or whatever. Take care of that with some filler because I do plan on putting a whole nother coat or a couple coats of primer on there and then block sanding it a second time. So this first round is just to get it covered and start finding those low spots. But I don't know when I'm going to get paint on it, but I wish it was tomorrow. Arthur, there's 3 pieces to a 69 and 70 cal. Yeah, it's been a while since, I did that one on the 70 sport roof. It's not really a Mach 1, it's a fastback, whatever. But that's been quite a while ago, like 10 years ago. So I don't remember all the details on that one. And I have I'm going to say Shoan. Is that how you say that? Shoan Muhammad? Barry, you still taking viewers projects? Yes, I am. And I know I have one I'm trying to get edited, and I think I have some others that are being sent to me. So I'm trying to get that put together. Apparently, I need more help.
Yes,
Donna Morris, I've seen videos on doing a one-piece cowl. Okay, I have not done it. Leland cowl is 2-piece on a 68, easier to put in. Just doing one, just done. Oh, he has just done one. Okay. So we got a thanks from Mike. Nick is answering the question about the mini tubs. He will be relocating the frames, and yes, a new tank will need to be used. So That's some good information, and you need to think about that too, Jorge. Whatever
No,
you
it's,
end up,
tank's not even going to be touched.
what's that?
No, the tank, the fuel tank area won't be even touched when I'm doing.
Okay, good. Oh man, where'd it go? Hold on. We got Steve Dickerson checking in. Howdy from Murphy, Texas. Love the videos. I'm learning a lot. Thank you, Steve. Glad you're here. More about the One Piece. Oh, Joseph, I might have missed this, but what is behind you, Barry? That is a 65 Impala. And I actually did a video on this car. I did a walk around video and showed it. And I put a radiator in this car for a friend of mine. And I've been waiting, as we all have with ordering parts. I ordered new door seals and a new trunk seal for this car. And they've been just on back order. Classic Performance, I think, is who I ordered it through. And I think they just shipped them out like a couple days ago. But that is the 65 Impala that the guy has owned it at least 50 years. I don't think he bought it new, but he bought it close to new. And so
Wow.
It's really cool. I mean, the guy he's actually originally from Czechoslovakia.
Really?
Great guy. Yeah, he's a machinist. I've known him for years. I've worked on this car for him for several years, many years, and just a really neat guy. He loves to talk about that car because he's had it for so long that he'll talk about taking the whole soccer team. His kids played soccer. He'd take the whole team in the car, stuff like that.
Yeah, their memory.
Yeah, fond
growing
memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going through the hell I'm going through.
Yeah. 3X Xena, Gene, he's saying that love the CV Honda. Yeah, my plan is anyway, I wasn't going to ride this Honda. I was going to fix it up and sell it, but I don't know what's going on. So
That's messed up. I mean, he should at least give you the bike back.
well, I'm not. We're in contact, but I don't know. I know he's had some stuff going on. I think he had a torn rotator cuff, maybe some other things, but still, keep me updated.
Is he in the same state?
Yeah. Katana Junkie. I started restoring my 2000 Lightning. It needs a core support, rockers, corners on the cab, as well as a couple small holes. Bed probably needs replaced. Okay, I worked on one of those. I put a full frame under one of those trucks, but there was no rust anywhere on that truck. It was really solid. We got a thumbs up from Brid Chev Truck. Got a thumbs up. Thank you for that. Gary says I got to see that. Kind of lost in the conversation. Oh, he said Nick says the rear seat will fit too. That's great.
Good. Oh, yeah.
Scott's responding to that concept or conversation. So Andrew's going to bed. I don't know if you've been following along on Andrew with Grease Rookie. He's doing some backtracking. He started doing repair work on the rear of his car and decided he didn't like what it was turning into because the drop panel on the left side, turns out it has a bunch of patches and he was not happy. So he bought a kit. He's taken all that back out and, he's learning, which is the important part.
Is that the guy that's learning how to weld?
Yeah, he's learning how to weld and he's getting better, but he's doing the right thing. I know he wanted to fix it up his way and he was doing good, but it just didn't work out. Let's see. Joseph was telling Footage Factory to go to CJ Pony and their CJ Classic skin. So there you go. Also, you may keep the stock risers and look into a one-piece headliner. That's true too. You could put in a solid one-piece headliner. That's another option. But it's probably easier just to put it. Well, I mean, it's up to him. But if you're taking the seat risers out anyway, go ahead and put the lower ones in. Plan for it, even if you want to use the one-piece headliner.
Yeah, could you actually take the stock seat risers and cut them down yourself?
You could, but it's tedious, and you have to make sure because what you're eliminating though is the weld flange.
Right.
It's either you cut it and section it and cut it in the middle and cut out an inch and weld those two pieces back together, or you cut off an inch and then you put it right against the floor, and now you're welding that edge straight to the floor because you have no flange. So you can do it, but it's probably much simpler just to use a shorter seat riser. Let me see. Trying to get caught up on here. Oh, 777 Smitty is in the house. I have seen a 3 and 4 leaf. Okay, hold on. I'm guessing, seen a 3 and 4 leaf rear. Is there a height difference between them? That's a good question. I don't know what the significance is between a 3 leaf and a 4 leaf, if there's any real significance other than maybe a GT might have had a 4 leaf or something like that.
It's generally just to support more weight, or stiffen suspension.
Right, and that's what it may be. Like a GT may have had a 4 leaf rear, just to give it a little more stiffness.
Yeah. Yeah, at least springs are not the best handling.
No, they're not. So you're asking about the fender roller, Eastwood's fender roller tool, $65?
Yeah, I posted that.
Okay. I'm just getting caught up.
I found out Eastwood is like $65 or something for Eastwood.
Okay.
It's a decent one.
Steve's commenting, $10 buys you 10 minutes of questions. No, it buys you 10 minutes of answers.
Yeah.
Red Squirrel, how about the red fabrication hold up? Oh, radiator. It did fine. That's where I soldered back on the mounts onto that center section of the radiator. I checked,
Okay,
I was curious the other day. I got it up to, temperature, grabbed it, it seems like it's fine. So,
oh, it looks good. Came out nice.
Yeah. Then I found out later, if you're doing one of these, if I had ordered a 66 radiator, it would have fit right in. I did not know that. It's a 65 Impala. And somebody had commented or told me later on, it says, yeah, 66 is the one you really need. Okay. I don't have a Chilton or a Chilton's manual. No.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with these, it's not like you can go down to a parts store and these guys know this stuff. I mean, it's like,
yeah, that's the difficulty.
Like when I was a kid, man, you go to a parts store and you'd ask, and these guys would know. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, you do blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, you can use Office 65 and, and like, but today it's like, they're just on a computer. What do you want with that? Spark plugs?
Yeah.
It's just not,
Guido, or driving your vehicle around with the mask on, our state of California will start to give you a citation for not wearing one.
Driving your car?
That's what he's saying. Well, California's crazy. We all know California's crazy.
Weather's beautiful, but there's no way I would move out there. I mean, no.
I was on a website or a Facebook page earlier today, and it was some guy had bought a house out in California. Just bought this house with a 32 by 28 shop, and he was asked about insulating it and stuff like that. I'm like, you're not allowed to work on your car. Doesn't matter what you do.
No, it's nuts out. I mean, it's nuts out there. Yeah, it's I think Jersey's bad. And then I hear some stories about these other places. But
yeah,
wow. I got my wife talked into moving to South or North Carolina because of all this. This is like the last straw up here.
Yeah,
so I'm finally like, yes, warm weather. I'm out here.
Well, I can tell you what I like about Alabama, which is, of course, west of us. The taxes are a lot lower, and the population density is lower, and it's just nicer. It's just calm, But
you had me sold at lower taxes.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, let me just give you a perspective. I don't know what your taxes are. I'm not worried about that. My lot is about acre and 2/3. Pretty good sized lot. Decent, good sized house. This shop. My taxes in Georgia are $3,200.
Wow.
Now, this same setup over in Alabama would be about $800.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it so different?
Well, because they don't have as much infrastructure. You know, like here we have
school systems.
we have dedicated, you know, a police force, and then we have the sheriff's department, and we have this and that, and the schools, all these things that compound it. But over there, the population being stretched out more, you know, I could buy 5 acres of land over there. The cheapest I found was like $18,000 for 5 acres of land.
Really?
You know, yeah. It's amazing some of the properties that are available. I looked at a house that's for sale that has the house is basically a brand new house with a full basement, but it's not finished. The inside is completely not finished. There's no sheetrock, nothing, but the outside is all done. On the property, it looks like a 40 by 80 shop, and then there's another building about that size, and then it has a pond and 23 acres of land for $260,000.
Holy cow! Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you have to finish it. You know, you have to finish it.
Right.
But the point is, I mean, it's just crazy, some of the stuff. Oh, I have to give Shohan. He sent me a super sticker. He gets some bells for that. Thank you very much, Shohan. I appreciate that. Steve's trying to get his cut. Look at him. Look at him jumping in there. Dude, I started a donation trend. Look, my income tax is 0.
How do you do a super sticker? How does that?
On the stream, on the right at the bottom, it has a thing called Super Chat and Super Sticker. It should be on the bottom of the chat bar. Like if you went down to where you were going to type in the box.
Oh, okay.
And then underneath that, it says Super Chat, Super Sticker. And basically you click on the, yeah, and you can, you know, if you feel led to, you can donate to the cause, whatever. But I really appreciate it. I mean, it's fantastic because, as I said before, the channel itself, you know, has been, it's declined quite a bit, a lot, and it's slowly started to make the turn to come back up. And I think it's because society is picking up a little bit, you know.
Well, the stock market shot up today. I mean, it just went skyrocketing.
Did it?
So.
Okay, well, I don't even know.
Yeah, well, what's going on is that they're actually coming close with a vaccine. So as soon as they got wind of that,
Yeah, so that means I need to put all my money back in my 401k and let it start working.
I'd wait a little bit.
Well, I don't know. You can't, you know, I don't want to jump back in when it's back where it was. I need to jump back in when it's coming back up.
It's a tough. I mean, it's a tough call because I've been the same thing, and it's like,
well, but the thing is, it's not. I can't get much worse. The way I look at it, it really can't. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, the only thing is, I'm getting a lot of emails from the facilities that they're concerned about a second wave.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you start seeing that, and then if you don't have the vaccine and that kind of stuff, it's
that's true.
I mean, the thing is, like right now, it's really on the west and east coast is really where the concentration is, where the problem is.
That's where the population is.
Yeah. But the problem is that if it goes into, you know, where we get our food and, you know, and inside of the middle of the country, that's when we're really going to feel it, and that's when it's going to get really scary. So I think, you know, but you know, like right now we're actually seeing we're seeing improvement. It's not great, but it's nice. It's going in the right direction.
Yes.
You know, so, and then, you know, the news that came out today with the vaccine coming out, they've got a couple trials that they did and actually came out pretty good.
Yeah.
Out of 8 out of 8 people were positive with the antibodies, so they couldn't get it and fight it off. They could fight it off. So now the next phase is they're going to try like a couple thousand people, and then once that phase goes in, then we might actually see it by maybe January.
Okay.
You know, so if that happens, that'll be great because
yeah.
You know,
well, now Steve is asking me for one line from Fast and Furious.
What?
I have no idea. I don't like the Fast and Furious movies, so I don't know. Is that your racer? I don't know. I don't know what. I have no idea.
What's he asking?
I don't know. Is it from the movie Fast and Furious? Okay, show on. I'm gonna put this up here, and you're gonna see. There is the email address right there. JoeDaddy'sGarage@gmail.com. So I'll leave that up there for a minute. And he was talking to him earlier about sending me the Viewers Project video. So that's the email address that you would use for that. And 777 Smitty has given me a thumbs up, so give him a bell for that. Let's see, Footage Factory. Steve, my land is half the size of yours. Property tax for mine is almost $5,000.
Yeah.
I forget where he lives though.
You guys want to know what mine is? It's so the lot is 60 by 120. Taxes are, and it's all we have is a swimming pool, and 3 sheds and a small garage. But it's $11,000.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my gosh. Well, anywhere up around the New York, New Jersey area, they're gonna.
Well,
they're gonna
I mean, yeah, we're in Bergen County. It's like we're in the poor section of Bergen County, and Morris County is a couple counties over. That's even worse. But that's crazy over there. I've got a 2-family house over there. That's where I have the garage and the car. That's where I'm working on. I'm like 45 minutes from where I live.
Yeah.
And the taxes over there are insane. They're like one of the 8th most expensive in the world, or something crazy like that. It's crazy.
Well, now I'm catching up. Steve was saying his income tax or his taxes were $5,000, but his income tax is 0. I don't know how that works.
Oh yeah. I was just happy to get the stimulus check, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. More Mustang parts.
Yeah.
Gotta help the economy.
So Red Squirrel is asking about the 5 acres of what over there? It's just treed lots. I mean, it's just full of trees, full of pine trees, and some of them maybe have a small creek on them, very small creek, and there may be some terrain. It's not going to be flat. Alabama does have some pretty high. There's a small mountain chain, but some mountain areas. But for the most part, it's buildable land. It's all buildable, so that's a plus. Yeah. Let's see. Oh wow, this is crazy. So let me go. Yeah, sorry, Steve. I don't like Fast and Furious. Not my thing.
On that, I'm still trying
Gene
to figure out how to get that. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the donation thing working here.
Okay, so here's what Steve is saying. Click the $sign.
Okay.
And then it says, it wants credit cards. Put the CC info in, is what it's saying. So like credit card.
So it's a super sticker?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I've not done it. It should be. I can't pull up my stream, so I don't know. Yeah, but I'm sure you have to put in a credit card or something. 3X Xena, Gene, I am paying $14,000 a year for the same size home in New York. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
That's crazy. Red Squirrel, 50 by 175 lot, $2,300 per year here. Let me tell you, and I don't want to lead everybody to Alabama because I want to keep the prices low. So you'd all just stay out. But
well, what's the catch? It's got to be some kind of catch. I mean,
it's because there's nothing.
There's
nothing around you. Let's put
tornadoes.
Occasionally, I mean, but that's anywhere here in Georgia. We have tornadoes.
Actually, we had some in Jersey too last month.
Yeah, but
nothing bad, but
they don't have the over. Now I'll tell you this though, a lot of the roads are not paved highways. they're little 2-lane roads, or it may be a rough road. They don't put the money into it because they don't want people to be,
Right.
you know, building it up like crazy. So that's the thing. Dave from Morris County, yes, crazy taxes there. So
I feel your pain, brother.
okay, I am going to send another live stream link out to Matt. So we'll get that sent out. He wants to jump in.
I'll be right back. I gotta get my credit card.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to share that with everybody. Nick, anybody ask me to repeat a Fast and Furious line, I just say family, like Vin Diesel to them. Okay. I don't really keep up with the Fast and the Furious. I'm sorry. I just Alabama, your cousin is your girlfriend. Well, you know what? It's really handy when you have family reunions. You don't have to go anywhere. I like it. Gee, my homeowner's insurance is $4,000 a year. I will get a $20,000 raise moving south just from taxes and insurance. You are absolutely right. And make sure you don't bring any of that policy with you if you move south. It is crazy though. You know, different states have outrageous taxes and doesn't make any sense. But you know, I shouldn't feel too bad, I guess, for paying about $3,200 a year for what I have. I should not feel that bad. But I know, like I said, if I drive over to Alabama, I have the same property and it's not even, you know, a third. It's pretty awesome. Donald Morris, I'm on 16.5 acres, 1,288 square foot house, 40 by 60 pole barn with the view of a pond, about $1,800 a year. Awesome. I love it. That's why I look at it. Yeah, Gene. No, keep that stuff up. Keep that stuff up north. Let them have it. All right, I'm going to slide Matt on here while Jorge is showing us his credit card. I've got you hidden there, Matt. Yeah, I mean Jorge. Go ahead, Matt. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just thought I would show you a couple projects I have.
Yeah, please.
I know that I think the last live stream you said I was first joining you, but I've been there a while, so I figured I better speak up so you remember me.
Yeah.
But let me see here.
You got to find your turnaround button.
Oh, there's
wow.
one of my projects. So that was my grandfather's. He bought it. So it's 1974 F100. He bought it. He bought it used in 1976.
Okay, hold that thought a second. I'm going to slide off and just let you show what you have, okay?
Okay.
And you can just talk about it. Go ahead.
So so 1974. He bought it in 76.
One second. Can you turn your phone sideways?
Sure.
See if it works. If it'll reset. It works so much better sideways, but it's not turning. Wait. I lost you. You'll have to come back. All right, we'll get Matt back on here in a second. Let's see if there's a. Oh, it's still not working, Matt. It's showing it. Yeah. Man, I don't know why that's not working. Just go with that. Go ahead. You can talk about it. Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, he bought it in 76. I live in South Dakota, so you can drive when you're 14 in South Dakota. So anyhow, it was my first vehicle. When I turned 14, my dad and I bought it from my grandfather. And then later on, I guess my dad became my dad's. And eventually, I don't know how well you can see in there, but eventually I inherited it back. My dad passed away. So been in the family.
Turn your phone back.
Turn my phone back?
Yeah, there. Because it was all showing sideways.
Okay.
You're good. Go ahead.
So that's one of my projects. It was all rusted out and actually painted all that with rattle can and clear coat, believe it or not. and box was all rusted out here and there, and cap corners and whatnot. But that being said, my other project is here. 66 Mustang GT. Had it for 20 years or so, and we've moved to separate states and always taken it along. That's kind of been a project, but I I haven't really done a lot with it till the last couple of years, and then I decided it's time to kind of dig in, get it done, rather than just tagging it along with us. So it's got real dirty now because I've been sanding, but new floor pans, had to rebuild the torque boxes, new quarters, new inner outer wheel wells. Basically everything here back is new on the car, minus the trunk lid and some of this inner structure. But had to do the cowl, so I did the up and lower cowl, all 4 inner fenders, replace those, all kinds of stuff. Front frame rails, did sections on those, as well as the rear frame wells. Got these recently, the Legendary Wheel Company, got these through CJ Pony Parts. So kind of debated on what to go with, but yeah,
Man, that
that's
looks good. I like it. That looks really good.
so hopefully, like I said, doing a lot of sanding and gonna paint it probably, hopefully sometime in the near future. But
What's the color?
I'm still kind of debating, but I'm thinking like a night mist blue.
Okay.
Originally it was candy apple red.
You know, that's like the most popular color for Mustangs.
Yeah, I know. That's why I figured we'll do blue or something. This kind
Yeah.
of shows what it.
I like seeing them different.
You're right, me too. And you can see some of the red there, but at one point somebody painted it green, and then it was kind of the color it was
Right.
when I got it. So
Now, are you keeping the vents in there like that?
I think so. I mean, for now,
Because I know that you could put a window in there.
yeah, like the Shelbys,
Yeah. I like the windows myself. I just think it looks cool. But
right?
nothing wrong with the vents. It's just an option, you know.
Yeah. I've gone back and forth over the years on what I want to do and stuff, and since it's real an actual GT, I want to probably do the GT badging and the stripe and stuff. But
Yeah, that's nice. And does it have original engine? Or are you doing something different?
yes. So I think I'm going to keep the 289. It's a 289. It came with the 3-speed. Wanting to do a T5 switch out the 3-speed for a T5.
Yeah.
Have that overdrive. So,
You know, I haven't really looked at it very often, but when you see these cars without the vent window, that really makes that opening look huge from the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, well, I mean, not the quarter vent. I'm talking about the little
Right.
quarter vent on the door itself.
oh, right.
You know, we have the wing window.
Gotcha. Right.
And when that's not there, that really, really cleans that up.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it before, how much that little vent window takes, space and changes the shape of it. But
Right.
I guess
Yeah,
that's,
'cause it-
you don't really think about it. Yeah,
Comes down
Big
about
old-
there.
Yep. That's cool. So how long have you been working on it?
So I bought the car over 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And when I first started tearing into it, I thought it was I took it apart then, and I bought a welder and stuff, and did the the inner fender for the battery over here, and
Sure.
the front frame rail, the section underneath it.
Yep.
And I was in college at the time, and that was kind of it. So we had to put it back together, and we actually moved about probably 800 miles away to a different state, and we moved a couple times there over the years, and then we kind of moved back in the opposite direction about 11 years later. But so it's kind of sat most of that time.
Yeah.
And so all this though I've pretty much done over the last 2 years. So
That's cool. Looks sharp.
yeah, there's no engine's not in it now, so
Sure.
but rebuilt the front end, new brakes. Nothing
Yep.
fancy, just
Yeah.
it came with
fine.
GT, so that front disc brakes.
Yeah.
But
Very cool. Yeah, appreciate you showing us that stuff.
yeah, I appreciate you letting me.
Yeah, I definitely like to see the work and the progress, and I know everybody else does too. That's the nice thing about it is we can all see what's going on, and that it's encouraging.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started working on it, it was kind of before YouTube was out there, so it was searching a lot of forums and whatnot, getting
Yeah.
information there. So it's
Yep.
I'm amazed at how much information now there is with YouTube and resources that are available to people.
Right. Well, you can hang on if you want. I've got a couple questions popping up that I want to just try to answer while you're here. Or it's up to you. If you want to go, that's fine too.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, let me throw a question up here. Steve is asking, is there a particular brand of epoxy, primer, and paint you would recommend for first-time painter? Is one system more forgiving than another? Summit, PPG. I can't say one is more forgiving than the other. Paint process is going to be the same, no matter what you're doing. You've got to obviously take your time and clean everything, sand everything, clean everything, sand everything. So, I'm familiar with PPG. I know I did use a Summit brand epoxy on Jade, and I'm covering it with PPG high build primer. So, and I said in that last video that if something goes wrong, I'm going to show it. I'm going to film it and let everybody know, hey, don't do this. But I don't see any reason why you can't overlap some products. So I can just say I know I'm comfortable with PPG, but I see no problem with using Summit brand. If you use their products and use it per their instructions, you should have good results. And then Summit is going to cost less than PPG. The only thing, and I pointed this out before, the biggest thing you end up with if you're using base coat, clear coat, you spend the money on your clear coat. I mean, you can have a nice paint, spend money on the quality paints. You can get a mid-grade paint, but get a high-end clear coat, and then you end up with a better paint job, and it's more durable. It'll last longer. So, hope that helps. Let me see what else I got here. Yeah, Nick is saying he loves your truck.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's a sharp truck. I like that a lot. And you said it's a 72?
74.
74. Okay, because I know I'm more familiar with the Chevys and GMCs. 67 to 72 is my favorite, body design. And I didn't know until like last year that Ford called them, or fans call them dent side and bump sides. I guess you know that. So I don't know what the transition is between the two.
So that body style is started in 73, ran through 79. So the grills changed. Yeah, I think so 73 through, this is my understanding, through 75, they were labeled as F100s. And then due to, in 76 is when they became the F-150s. Basically, I read at some point something to do with they added, heavier springs and a couple other things so they could get by on emission laws. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that body style was 73 through 79.
Okay. Yeah, I knew there was I wasn't sure what the transition is, but now I know, because I know my brother-in-law had a 79
Okay.
3/4 ton, F350 or no 250 that he totaled out. It was a really nice truck. But anyway, so Shohan says, thank you. Your channel is very informative. He'll be sending a video. So he's going to do a viewer's project video, sending that in. Let's see. 777 Smitty says he had a blue Mustang fastback and he's going to paint it red. And that's pretty much, I mean, most of them are red, it seems, just like 57 Chevys. If you go to a car show, it seems like almost all of them are red for some reason. They paint them red. And then you'll see a black one pop out, you know. But back then, the color choices were limited to like yellow and white and, you know, pale blue and white and red, you know, different two different colors completely. I don't know. Joseph is saying, what is your background in? He wants to know what you do as far as your background, like.
I think I had mentioned this one time before. I think when your kid was on, when he got stuck in the mud. Yeah. But my background is I went to school, got a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. But I've always kind of been into cars.
Yeah.
And always wanted, you know, remember reading magazines and stuff, and always wanted a Mustang. And I think I was 20, 22, somewhere around there when I bought this car. So yeah, just kind of learning as I go. The pickup, you know, I did about 5 or 6 years ago, and you know, I mentioned I did rattle can painting it. So that wasn't my initial intention, but I started replacing it. It had a lot of rust. And so I started replacing stuff, and I came across like Duplicolor Perfect Match paint. Picked it up at like O'Reilly's or something. I thought, you know, I'm gonna try this, just at least put some color on there.
Right.
And turned out it's like, that looks pretty good actually. And you know, I clear coated it and stuff, and then I wet sanded it and buffed it, and I just kind of went from there. So as I was replacing rust and welding in new panels, just kind of bought some more paint and did it, and kind of finished it over time. So I mean, the roof is the original, and I think there's one door that the red is the original.
Yeah. So that's what color? It's red.
Yeah. It's
it looks kind of copper in the image.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's so. Ironically, it's candy apple red and Wimbledon white.
Okay.
Another reason I need another candy apple red.
Yeah. Joseph's saying he loves the two-tone F100. His parents had a 79. They bought brand new when they got married. They still made the F100 in 79. I don't know. Donald Morris is saying the 57 to 60 model is called the Fridge. 61 to 66 is Slick. 67 to 72 is Bump. 73 to 79 is Dent. So I'll give him a bell because I've only heard of Bump and Dent. So
I've heard of Slick before, but I guess I didn't know how it related.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I'm not paying any attention to it. Let's see. Okay, so Scott saw 55 Chevy. Steve, thanks. There's a Summit Racing here in Arlington, Texas, about 45 minutes from me. So that would be a good excuse to scope out the place and pick up their epoxy and catalyst to get started. Okay, go for it. Let us know how it turns out. Gene is checking out. So we'll see you later, Gene. Thank you. Glad you were here. And, okay. So the guy has a nice Texaco gas station replica in his backyard. That's cool. All right. I'm going to slide Jorge back in so we can all be on here. Jorge, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. I'll give you a bell for that.
Hey,
sorry.
thanks. I forgot to thank you for
oh yeah, you got the bonus.
Thanks for that.
You got the bonus and a sticker.
Yeah, a sticker too. Ooh, I better go find the box.
You better check the box because the sticker was inside of that koozie.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out.
Unless you just shoved it right in there and just crushed the sticker with the bottle.
It's also a $100 bill.
Yeah, there's a $100 bill.
What? No, it's not in there.
What?
I'm gonna paint it. No,
It was
put it in here.
I put it in the box. So you have to go digging around to find that now.
It's probably in the box, maybe. I guess I was just
Yeah,
I was
You
just so
just got
happy to get
worried.
something in the mail.
like a little kid, you got excited. Oh,
Yeah, well, the mail's horrible here. It's like this is the only thing that came on time.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, nice truck, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. That is very cool. And where do you live, Matt? You're out in.
I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh,
So,
you getting any snow up there still?
no, we've been getting a lot of rain here last few days,
Yeah,
but hopefully it start warming up.
yeah.
Yep.
It's been pretty nice here in Georgia. I'll say that. It hasn't gotten. I think it got up to about 84 degrees over this past week, but
Okay.
it hasn't been crazy yet. But obviously, a big difference than Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah. It, actually, our winter was pretty mild, but yeah, I've been to Atlanta and to Alabama. Definitely much different. A
Different
lot more
place.
humid.
Well, it was about a week or so ago. My parents live up in Pennsylvania, and my in-laws live up there too, and they had snow. I mean, it was snowing so bad they couldn't see across the street.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy to think it was early May and it was just snowing, and then of course it was gone. But it was chilly here. That's all. It just got a little chilly. But anyway,
I mean, the weather we get up in the north lately has been nuts. It's like it'll snow, and then a couple of days later, it's like 80 degrees, like 30-degree swings in temperature. It's just crazy up here.
yeah. Well, it's smoothing out here, and maybe it's because nobody's driving. We have less emissions in the air, and the environment's going, woo! Look at this, we can do some stuff. It's hard to say. Rick is saying he's going to paint his '68 coupe Meadowlark yellow. I'll give him credit for that. I mean, it's nice to see different colors. I hate seeing them all the same.
That new Mustang Ford, or that Ford blue color that came out, is that what you're going for, Matt? Like that really rich looking blue?
It's more like a royal blue, I think. If you're familiar with like Revology cars or Revology, they do.
I've heard of Revology, but
they so you can get on their website and you can order a brand new 65, 66, 69 Mustang, and they use the Dynacorn bodies, and then you can basically choose the power plant. I've seen some of them with LS. The recent ones, they're doing the Coyote motors, and they're like $170,000. But they've got a YouTube channel, and
wow.
So there's one on there that they've got a night mist blue, and it's like a 66 like mine, and I kind of like the color combination of that, and so that's kind of what I'm going for. But
yeah, it's kind of hard for us to when you call out a color, and you say night mist blue. I don't think it generally just pops into your head what that appears to be. So is it medium dark? Is it?
I mean, the best way to put it would probably be a royal blue. It's a darker blue.
Okay, so like a navy blue kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blue, royal blue.
Okay, so it's almost may have actually feel like a bit of a purple tint to it, in a sense. Okay.
Yeah.
See, now that I can put together in my head, I can envision it.
And you put stripes on it, or just leave it solid?
I think. I mean, like I said, I've gone back over the years. I thought, doing like the whole racing stripes and doing some of the like the GT350 tributes and stuff. But I guess as I've gotten older, I'm probably just going to do one solid color, and then I'll do the GT emblems and the GT stripe on the rocker. We'll see.
Make it subtle.
Right.
Here's a quick comment from Joseph. Did you see yesterday NASA said our sun has entered into some new solar minimum state, which is going to cause a colder age? Interesting read. You know, we've all heard about this global warming, whatever. And I know as a child of the 70s, Time magazines, it covered several issues was global cooling, right? And so there has been some sort of cyclical pattern around 30 years is the transition from what I remember is between global cooling and global warming. And then it goes back down and it's a 30 some year cycle. So that very well may be what we're into right now, as it's saying, you know, if NASA's saying it, that it's possible we could be entering another, you know, maybe not a technical, you know, like an ice age, but a colder cycle that we go through. And if that's the case, because like, here's the thing, when I grew up in Pennsylvania in 76 and 77, we had so much snow. It was unbelievable. We had places that had 15-foot snow drifts. I mean, you could not drive. They had to get super heavy equipment. And I mentioned this before because my dad had a tank retriever. Okay. Technically, it's an M4 high-speed tractor. It's based on the M60 tank that they used for years, but it's a retriever. And that tank retriever he had a big V-plow blade on it, like you'd see on like a train, right? In that time period, 76, 77, it was so bad that our little township called up my dad and said, hey, we can't get our trucks through. We can't get through any of these roads. Can you break out your tank and break the roads? And that's what my dad did.
Wow.
He took that tank out and was busting through all these massive snow drifts. Now, here's the reality of that. That was in 77. 87, 97, 2007, you know, I don't know when that cold cycle would have finished out, but we don't get snow like that anymore. Like you're saying in South Dakota, you had a pretty mild winter, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you look back in that history, probably in that same time period, they had so much snow they didn't know what to do with themselves, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that because if it's a cycle. I mean, and the way, like I was watching a documentary on Greenland. Greenland's a perfect example, where they actually did studies of the people that lived there. They went like 100 years back, and they did analysis of their bones and what their diet was. Greenland at one time was actually a green, lush place, and then it kind of went into a mini ice age. You know, where it's like, you know, where it's like frozen tundra. And it did it within like 100-year period, and they could tell by from the people's bones that they were eating a lot of plants. Then it went to meat. Then it went to fish.
Right.
You know, like they could see it. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, the weather just goes up and down. But I mean, these guys you know, these scientists, it's like any opportunity to make money on it.
Yeah.
You know, you know, like the whole EPA with you know, with air conditioning fluid. You know, you have to get the whole EPA and all that because it's you know, it's affecting the ozone layer and all that crazy stuff. And you got to get your EPA certificate if you want to deal with any kind of refrigerant. You know, R12. You know, and you know, that stuff worked great. And new stuff is like,
right. Yeah.
So I mean, the global. I mean, it is climate change. You're going to get it, and it's like you said. It's like it happens. It is a cycle. It goes up and down. The only thing I did notice, remember 9/11 when the planes stopped flying for about like a month.
It wasn't quite a month. It wasn't quite a month. But it was a couple of weeks.
It was at least 4 weeks. That time period. The only reason I know that because I had a friend of mine who was stuck someplace.
Oh, okay.
He was hating it. Anyway, the temperature, because of the trails from the jets, the temperature actually went up.
Yeah.
You know, so the pollution that the jets are causing out there actually helps is helping the atmosphere by keeping it cool. So
Yeah.
I mean, I who knows?
Yeah, and some of it's out of our control entirely. So
Yeah,
you could have
yeah,
a volcano below its top, and suddenly everything's screwed up for half the nation. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I agree. It's cyclic.
Yeah, it's definitely cyclic. I mean, Greenland is a perfect example of that. And you're seeing it. How just that was in a 100-year period. It wasn't like 1,000 years.
right. I'm going to throw this. Randall is saying he's planning on painting his 67 Cougar Velocity blue. And again, I don't know what Velocity blue looks like.
Sounds cool though. Sounds like it's fast.
Yeah, it's got to be fast. Look, well, Joseph said it's dark blue. Okay, so I'll have to guess. I'll have to go with that. Okay,
Google.
Steve's gonna chime in. Footage Factory. I love this. He's gonna paint his car Mako cheap black to protect from the elements. Then I'm thinking about wrapping it so I can change at a later date. Just go ahead and wrap it now, Steve. Don't even bother with a cheap paint job. Just wrap it. And you can, I saw a post on Facebook today. Well, not Facebook. A guy sent me, let me pull this up. The guy that has he did the Mystique Mustang. Okay. He sent me this picture. And I don't think it's been on the internet, or if it has, I haven't seen it anywhere. He says, look at this paint job. Okay. Look at this paint job. Let me see if I can get close enough. Can you see what's going on there? You see the lines? I can't get it close enough. My camera won't focus. That's duct tape. The guy coated the whole car in duct tape.
Oh man.
The whole thing is in duct tape.
Holy cow, look at that.
And he commented, he says, nice paint job. Or best duct tape job ever.
Well,
Steve, well, let me see if I can get my camera to focus back here. Steve, that's what you need, man. You need some colored duct tape.
That's funny.
There's a chrome duct tape. Yeah.
Well, we did. The guys when I was doing the race car stuff, the guys used to. I go, well, how do you guys pick the colors? And they pull out all kinds of different duct tape. He goes, well, we just we paint the cars to the duct tape, so when they blow off a fender, we just tape it back on. It looks good at 150 miles an hour, 50 feet away.
Exactly.
But they did it. They actually matched the duct tape for the color. I thought that was pretty.
Yeah.
But I never thought about doing a whole car.
Yeah.
How long did that must have took them like, oh man, a long time to do that.
Probably offers some convenient or some benefit in crashes, right?
Yeah.
A duct tape, hold everything together.
Hey, how long does a wrap last? I mean, what does it look like after a couple of years?
Wrap, I've heard them last, a good year or more, depending on how you take care of them. I mean, they can last longer. You don't park them in the shade or keep them out of the sun. They'll last a good while, but I've not done a wrap or been around it. So, but I'm sure there's some out there that last longer than others. Again, it depends on the quality of the material. Matt Sean says, awesome job on a truck. Looking forward to seeing your 66 Stang. Yeah, I think we're all going to look for updates on that thing. So it looks good. Yeah. So Steve says duct tape or DAC tape. I'm doing it. Okay. And then he's gonna take his cousin on a date. Okay.
Maybe he should be moving to Alabama.
Maybe. Let's see. Let me get caught up here. Oh yeah, Red Green. If you're familiar with Red Green show, it was great. He used duct tape to fix everything. Yeah. He can fix anything. All right. Well, good. Man, it's already 10 o'clock. 10:12. I'm probably not going to go much further, honestly, because like I said, we just got back, jumped in here, shot this up, and I'll probably end this here in a couple of minutes. So, yeah, I need to get to bed. So anyway, I know it's like what time is it there for you, Matt?
It's 9:12.
So yeah, so you're an hour behind.
Yeah.
Jorge's on my time, but he needs to get to bed too.
Actually, I got to go back to work.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I've actually been trying to do a little bit while I'm off. It's crazy. I can't wait to get back on the road and back to what we were doing. And you know, I'm really fortunate and I'm really thankful. And you know, thank God we're working from home and you know, I'm able to help people. But I really miss going back on the road and going out there. It's less work.
Yeah.
Yeah. We spent all day just trying to help people, trying to find stuff. It's just, you know, it's crazy.
I'll say this, and I've said it in the other streams. You know, I took a 30-day leave of absence from my job, and I like it. I don't mind not going to work, and I'll be able to get some unemployment money coming or whatever to compensate for some of that. But I liked it so much that I extended it another 30 days. So I took off May and June, and I'm like,
never gonna want to go back.
I don't want to go back now. I mean, if I could, I'd retire tomorrow.
Well, Monday's a holiday, right? Labor Day or no, Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Are you going to be on?
Yeah, I'll still be on.
All right, because maybe I can come in. I'll see if maybe I can come in on Monday, and I'll be at the garage, and then this way I can just kind of show you stuff, maybe ask questions on that.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
You know?
Yep. That sounds good. Let me see here. Yeah. I wish I was retired, but I'm not. Kev Chat, I'm retired already.
We need more of those stickers, super stickers.
Yeah, I need a lot more super stickers.
A lot more zeros.
Yeah, a lot more zeros on it. Yeah, and not that I'm looking for anything. And this is just some observation, but tomorrow is my birthday, so
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's cool. Appreciate it. But I'll be 53 tomorrow. So if I could, I would quit work and really turn up the heat on doing this stuff in here, you know, building cars and all that stuff. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen because obviously the economy is all over the place, and you know, the numbers have to be really right for me to be able to do something. But some of these YouTube channel guys, man, they make some crazy money doing this stuff. Oh yeah. There's a lot of people that make some ridiculous money.
My friends are. There's two things I meant to tell you. So my friends are busting my chops. They want me to start a YouTube channel, and there's all the crazy stuff I did. Like the one weekend, I went to work on the car, and then the water heater started leaking. I'm like, so I was like, oh shit. So I just replaced it. I ran down the low, picked one up, and did it. And there was the tenant was there to help me, and it was great. And the guy's some kind of IT guy, whatever. He's like, and I was teaching him how to do it. Like, okay, here's what you do. This is how you sweat the pipe. You don't want to overdo this. You want to make sure you go through all things. Like, man, you should do this on YouTube.
Seriously,
it's like, you know. So it's like, but there. I mean, you could. I mean, some of those guys do it. You know, and you have really good content. You just have to figure out what the formula is. You know, you probably. I'm sure you could do it. You have to.
Well, let me tell you. It's not as hard as you think to come up with ideas, you know, but for me, the car stuff is easy because I grew up doing this. It's all stuff that I do all the time. My other channel, the Joe Daddy's Workshop that I have, that I put stuff on there, just working on my door for the shop, putting in a door handle, putting in a quick set door handle. Okay. Generally, it's those of us that have done it, we're like, oh, it's nothing to it. You just take out the screws, put it together. I can't tell you how many people have watched that video and been super excited that I showed it because they said, I'm a visual learner. I don't understand looking at a drawing, you know. Or
well, the instructions are like Japanese translated to English. That's
right.
You know, that's part of the battle. And but let me tell you, I'm the same way too. So yeah.
The best video that I have on that channel is doing the door threshold. That I replaced the door threshold. That was the first one I'd ever done. I'd never done it before. But I look at the instructions. I can understand instructions and go through it. And I was like, I'll make a video on this. That video has it's got to be like 80 or 90,000 views. And everybody has said they thought this was like super, super complicated. But, the way I do it, it makes sense. And I'm like, well, that's why I did the video. I want people to see this. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about doing a water heater. I wouldn't be comfortable putting in a water heater. Honestly, I've had friends, I've helped people do it, but I wouldn't be comfortable doing it. But those kind of videos, people love that stuff.
Yeah, I was like, and it was really funny because I went back here like the following week. I'm like, hey man, I actually did a nice job. It's like this came out. But I used to do those in my sleep, and hung over. But no, it's like, I think if you could just figure out the formula, I mean, I think you could do well because your content's great, your delivery is great, your explanation stuff is great. So I definitely could see, doing it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just needed to grow by a couple 100,000 more.
I've been watching for a long time and learned a lot from your channel. So
I appreciate it. That's good. That's good to hear. And that's, and I tell people anytime, I'm just a normal person. I don't put myself on a shelf and say, I'm better than you or I'm smarter than you. I don't do that because it's nothing to it. It doesn't make sense to do that and be that person. So, when the other day I had that guy, Sean, struggling with his quarter panel. I was talking about it earlier. He was emailing or messaging me and I said, look, dude, here's my phone number. Just call me. I don't want to talk. I don't want to sit here and type.
I hate typing.
And that's what I do. I don't care. I'll talk to, it doesn't matter. What's going on, and a lot of people, I think they get to a certain point, they're like, don't talk to me. I'm like above you. I'm not that guy. I don't ever plan to be that guy. And it would be very difficult for me to be that guy and be able to sleep at night. Joseph is commenting that he's worried about his job because he can't get things to actually sell. We have people who want to buy product, buy it, but product isn't being replenished. I think
that's what we're going for. Yeah,
that's a hard part too.
What you got to do is the trick is to find. There's two things. There's two ways you can do it. You can either find what's available or what's coming in, and you try to sell it that way, so that you're selling it before it hits the warehouses, or it goes out, before it goes to distribution, or you try to find out what is a good replacement for the customer. So try something that might, that might replace what he needs just to get him through it.
Right. Very true.
Well, the expectation for people this day and age is they want stuff and they want it now, and that's what people want to custom. Unfortunately, that's the way.
It's just not happening. Even Amazon is like, I'm surprised if I get something within 4 days now from Amazon. We used to get it almost that day. It's just.
Well, it's everybody growing up with a microwave. We all grew up with a microwave. I want my food. Click.
Right, the now generation. I want it now.
Yeah. So, Gary points out editing takes a lot of time. That is true. Editing takes more time.
That's the thing, yeah.
Bob Shoemaker says retirement is pretty fun so far. Good. Give you a bell for that. And,
hey, it sounds like it's working good now.
Yeah, it's stuck again. It went down, but it didn't come back up. Steve, I hear you've been furloughed 5 weeks and enjoying catching up on stuff. Can't afford to retire yet, but ready. Happy birthday. Thank you, Steve. I'm getting happy birthday calls. Duct tape and COVID on the tape. Sean's laughing at Steve's comments. Red Squirrel says he used to be a plumber.
I feel your pain, brother.
I just have the plumber.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate that. Kev Chat. I listen to everyone. Once a mind is closed, that's the end of learning. An old dog can always learn new tricks. Very true. Give you a bell for that. All right, so Nick's checking out. Rick is checking out. Looks like Leonard's going out. Joe, everybody's leaving us. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, one quick question. after we're doing all this work, I mean, how much would it cost if someone did all the work that we're doing to these cars? And what do you think these cars are worth? You know, after they're really restored, really nice, like on like a typical.
So let's say we use Jade as a reference, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you really counted my time and the parts, materials, and everything I put into it, I mean, I'll probably have $30,000 in that car, you know, and when it's all done, it's worth 22. I'm just saying, it depends on the car, you know, like Matt's car,
Right.
it's a
That's
GT Fastback. So whatever he's got dumped into it, more than likely he'll get the bulk of that back. I mean, if he ever decides to sell it,
Right.
you know. So it's really tough to give you a straight answer on that, because it depends on how serious you take it, because, you know, obviously some shops and places will just cut corners just to get it out the door and not care. You know, if you want to do it right, it's going to take time, take money, all those things. And really, my value, I don't look at it as a dollar figure. I look at it as a satisfaction for me. If I save a car that was breaking in half, at the end of the day, I can go, I did that. And that's what my reward is mostly, you know what I mean? I'm not looking at it from, I need to make money off of this necessarily. It's not, I can't look at it that way. You know, the Model A that I did, I don't know if you saw the Model A videos or not. I restored my grandfather's Model A. I spent, just in actual cash, I spent about $8,000 or $9,000 rebuilding that car. Actual cash. And that's not, I had the body shop at the time, so the paint was, you know, no cost. You know, these different things were no cost. My time I did not count. It took me a year and a half to build that car while I was working at the body shop and doing stuff here. But so in the big picture, I probably have $25,000 or more dollars, maybe $30,000 in that car. And honestly, it's worth high end 15, 18, you know, but that wasn't why I did it, you know, so it just doesn't matter. I could just throw the whole stuff. I still have all the receipts. I could just burn them tomorrow and I wouldn't care. That doesn't matter. So.
no, I'm just curious, because I mean, I'm committed to doing this project, but it's just nice to go back to my wife and say, hey, it'll be worth this. Leave me alone. When it's done. I need to buy that tool. I need that tool to finish this. You know, like, leave me alone.
Yeah, well, it's important. I have to have it, or I can't finish the car. And I'm already this far into it. I can't stop now. You know.
Well, and speaking of fastbacks or convertibles, you know, you see something on Craigslist or wherever, you know, like say a 66 fastback like mine. There's several where I've seen, you know, the whole thing's rusted out. It's collapsed, the inner structure, and they want $6, $7, $8,000, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's in primer and it's got rust in all the normal spots and they want $15,000.
I'm going to share a picture with you. Okay. This was sent to me over the weekend. A friend of mine who lives out in Colorado, he has a friend who has a Cobra kit car. Okay. And the guy wants to trade him a 66 fastback GT with, let me see if I get this, I want to go the right way. With a 5-speed in it. Can't make my finger slide. Really nice looking car. I mean, I can't see from the pictures. I can't focus on there, but it looks really nice. And the guy wants to trade him straight up for this Cobra. Now, replica Cobra. Now, what he's telling me is, he's asking me, how much is this fastback worth? Well, depending on how well it's done, you know, if it's not been bondoed up and everything, I mean, you might look 35, 50. I mean, it's all over the place, really. Then he
Yeah.
tells me it's a GT car. Okay, well that helps.
That's a
You
big
know.
deal.
But the guy only has, I think he said he has 17. He has 22,000 into the Cobra. And he's asking if it's a fair trade. I said, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the Mustang's worth more than the Cobra.
Right. Well, and you
Just
got to factor in that risk
Yeah,
too.
if it's
I
a
mean,
GT, yeah, it's a desirable. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
factor in that risk of, what if, one of those frame rails is packed with Bondo or something,
That's
So-
Well,
that's
that's what I
the
said.
biggest. Yeah.
I can't. And he also said it's got about $8,000 in suspension underneath the GT.
Oh, geez. So it's been.
So
oh,
I'm like, okay.
Right.
But, I said, but I can't, I'm only looking at pictures. I'm not looking at the actual car. So I can't tell you anything from what I'm seeing.
and that's
so-
the thing. I mean, I was looking to find something solid. Even like up here, they're asking like $20,000 to $70,000 for a coupe, right?
Right.
And then you get there and you look at them like, and if you don't know what you're looking for, they actually look pretty good until you really start, poking around and really checking them.
Yeah.
They hide this stuff pretty well. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's so hard to find a really good, solid car that was done right. That hasn't been cut corners or, you
Yeah.
put your
Right.
hand underneath the rear quarters and it starts cutting your fingers up because it's all,
Yeah.
it's all jagged and nasty there. It's like, oh, you start looking around. So it's like, I've yet to really see, like you said, there a good solid car that's like real. It's not all bondoed and
Right.
like that, like the guy that pulled out that ceramic, whatever that thing was, the bondo that was like an inch and a half.
Yeah.
thick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Steve
it's-
is saying his coupe, he has 25,000 in it so far, minus man hours.
That's just parts.
So that's just parts and car. So yeah. And if it was a fastback, he'd be afraid to cut it. I don't blame him. He's building a street racer, car. 777 Smitty, you will pay 30,000 for a new car, but it will never be as cool as one you build.
Yeah, there you go, man.
That's a good answer.
Anybody can go out and buy a Hellcat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's 10:30. I'm going to call it quits.
Yeah,
I'm all done. So I'm going to log you off, Matt. I'm glad you were here. Appreciate you showing us your projects. Keep us updated. Maybe we'll get you back on. And we'll look at it again. So we'll see you. Thanks for being here, Jorge. Nice hat. You got to find the sticker. I'm sure it's in the box.
yeah. I'm gonna go up to the garage now.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
So
Oh, by the way,
Okay.
if anybody, this is ginger beer. It's not real alcohol. Just so you know, we're not drinking on your show.
good. All right. Glad you were here.
Thanks.
We'll see you later. So
All right,
I'm checking you.
take care. Oh,
See you. Let's see. Gary's checking out. No, Steve, gotta go. I can't be your friend anymore. I gotta close out. Let me see if I'm gonna try one thing and see if I can do this and get it right. And we'll go from, hold on just a second. Here we go. Come on. There we go. See y'all. Have a good night. We'll catch you next time. It'll either be on, if I could do it, it'd be Wednesday at 3 p.m. If I don't show up Wednesday, it'll be Thursday at 3 p.m. So that'll be the next live stream. See ya.